Welcome everybody here to Call of Duty Challengers Elite. Season 2 is underway and I couldn't be more excited about it. My name is Infinity. I'm joined by Proper, as always, mate. Andy, it feels like it's been forever since we got to cast a game of Call of Duty together.
Yeah, we had some Twitter interactions over the weekend during Major Number 1. Just like, I just missed your voice, man. I missed it so much. It almost felt like it was an eternity between when we casted the end of Season 1 for Europe. Now we find ourselves ready to get things going for the Season 2, especially for Europe, man. It's going to be hot.
Yeah, it absolutely is. The region has shaken up, I think, quite a bit comparatively to what we saw in season number 1. I don't think we ever really expected this kind of shuffle in between season 1 and season 2, Andy.
No, there's no way that anybody was going to expect it. You know, I thought that roster mania was a plague that mostly happened in North America. I mean, historically, almost every single week, even after Cups, North American teams were switching everything up. But Europe actually fell to that, and one of the teams that we're actually covering today is going to be, well, soon to see, maybe a benefactor of it as well. We have so many different rosters. E-Man is moving away from what was Money Form, now is Ultra Academy EU. We have the whole Denza situation with Revenge Story now playing with Vengeance. Dude, people all over the place right now, and I'm here for it. I love the narratives that it brings.
Yeah, absolutely. Rostermania is always fun, regardless of which region it happens in. Now, you've already touched on the fact that one of the two teams we're kicking things off today has fallen foul to Rostermania, or rather, I think, has become strengthened, likely because of it. Let's get into the chat about this first match of the day. It's the Battle of the Bloody North, baby! We're starting things off with two franchise academy teams. Shout out to Rocker and Ultra, by the way, for picking up academy teams, for investing into Call of Duty Challenge. It's things that you love to see. Really awesome to see that here in Challenges this season. But let's start the conversation with Rocker Academy, reigning champions here in Europe, Andy.
Yeah. They are your Season 1 champions. I mean, without a doubt, definitely the team that you probably want to be watching out for most. I guess if you want to compare right now, they are probably the best team across all different modes. Search and Destroy kind of falls a little bit so-so here and there, but they're the #1 hardpoint team, undoubtedly. They have the best differential when it comes out from Season 1, winning on an average of about 52 points or so. That is the most decisive that you could ever ask for. I mean, across all different modes, 12-3 for hardpoint, 9-5 for Search and Destroy, 6-4 for Control. This team, in between all four players that it represents, Journey, Lucky, Metals, Real, the heart of Spain just exists in this Rocker Academy roster. They are very fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, one of the shining lights of Season 1, without a shadow of a doubt, I think Clutch gave him our MVP for the European region, was Lucky, right? Lucky is just, he's a star player. And in a way, it's kind of funny, right? Because in preseason, the big talk around this team was the fact that they finally found that fourth, right? Real had joined the team and had completely overhauled this roster. But Lucky, he was a standout player in Season 1, Andy.
Yeah, he absolutely was. I mean, throughout the entirety, Real was 1.07, 1.114, and a 0.95 across from overall all the way down to the Search and Destroy. But I mean, as far as Lucky is concerned, look, there's something to be said about what Lucky is doing across the map. It's an MP40 world, and we're just living in it right now as AR players. And Lucky is absolutely flourishing in that specific role. Lucky had a 1.26 overall KD across all different game modes. It was impressive to say the least. Even as far as like overall Slayer rating is concerned, and everything else through all 3 different game modes. Lucky was doing it all. When you get down to the search and destroy, keep an eye out for what Lucky is doing on the map, because although you would think that the automaton, you're going to be watching maybe more of like an anchor mid-range engagement kind of type deal, Lucky doesn't care. He's taking these very aggressive angles. He's finding these first bloods. The #1 first blood percentage, by the way, in all of Europe from season #1. Definitely the guy that you got to be almost watching out for, the guy you have nightmares about when it comes down to the searches.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's our map set for the first series of the day. The Battle in the North will be taking place in these locales. We're kicking things off with a Gavutu hardpoint to start the series, followed up by a Search and Destroy on Desert Siege, a Control on Gavutu as well for that map #3. And if we go the distance, Blinn hardpoint and Tuscan Search and Destroy will close us out. Andy, you and I, we got a chance to look over the map set before we got into the swing of things here. We had a little back and forth about it. This is a very interesting map set to kick things off with, particularly maps #2 through 4.
Yeah, I mean, especially for between like maps too, when it comes down to it. Last time these two teams faced, when Rocker Academy were Young Galactics, Moneyform was Ultra Academy EU. Well, some of these maps that were played were definitely a lot closer than what we were almost expecting, and this is actually one of them. The hardpoint on Bowcage to start things off, it would actually win to Ultra Academy when they were still playing with Wee Man. Now stepping in for Furious. Gotta be seeing how this player slots in. Last time of the go of things, Brody, they won 251-73.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I thought we were going in with Ultra Academy Rocker for a second. I was very confused as to what the hell was going on. I was like, hang on, Morty does not play for Ultra Academy EU. And I was like, hang on, the rest of the squad does not play for Ultra Academy EU. But we'll get ourselves into the proper match. You know, Andy, mate, we just love bamboozling people, don't we? That is like our entire
I saw the names on the top of the screen. Yeah. I was like, wait, maybe I wrote down the map set wrong, but I was like, I never knew that. I was...
Yeah, I was kicking things off on the Bakash, mate. It's okay. It's all right. Look, it's a tough day for everybody. Challenger Season 2, it's frazzled basically all of us. Discord's down. The entire world is basically down at this point. But it doesn't matter anyway. Getting things into Gavutu here with Hardpoint. And you and I, we talked about it coming into this map, Andy. Again, it is a very interesting map. I think specifically here for Ultra Academy EU because they've brought Furious into the team and he is a fantastic flex player.
Yeah, I mean, this is what's going to almost be enabling for Ultra Academy EU. You almost feel like when Wee Man was playing for this team that it was about like 3 ARs too deep at that point. And you did not necessarily have that flex prowess, and that's what Furious is going to be able to bring to the table. We know that they love to play the instigator role, and now you have to be able to go and meet that with Journey, who's hitting ring, going forward in towards the second set. Very small lead that Rocker Academy currently hold over their adversaries of Ultra Academy EU. As the trades come across the board, Ultra Academy are starting to reign supreme for some very much needed time. It's going to be good time on that as well, as Beans does find 3 in a row.
Yeah, Beans, of course. No longer the newest addition on this Ultra Academy EU roster, but he most certainly is still having a spellbinding effect on the team. Now on a 5 spree, will pull power before he can grab either the Strafing Run or the Glide Bomb. Should be noted now, by the way, folks, that the Strafing Run, despite it being utilized in Season 1 in Europe, will no longer be used here in EU. Do not expect those planes to come flying in from the skies. For now, though, 20 points ahead here in this game are Ultra Academy EU. They do have control of the rotation. Kills coming in now for Journey and Metals, even more here for the Spanish duo. It's actually going to be Rocker Academy in this hard point. It's going to be a great wave of control for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And P2 can turn to a money hill if you let things go absolutely right. You're looking at top boat control currently for Rocker Academy. All Vulture Academy are currently spawning into the backside of green. And although that might be pretty good, Real has actually found themselves a little bit of an opening to get on the backside of this building, trying to find themselves a baiting engagement, but Harry will chase them down with the Rat Pistol. Now some re-entry kills are starting to come through for Ultra Academy to maybe battle for some scrap.
Nicely done for Rocker Academy, though, to pick up those gunfights over here as well. And this could really be one of those pivotal moments in the game, right? They've spawned Ultra Academy EU over towards the radio tower. They're in control of the spawns for new. And this is one of those hard points where you very easily can get a full 60 seconds, especially when you have ARs on some of these dirty headies like Lucky is sitting on right now. Harry falls foul to a nade from Real. And I'll tell you what, mate, no trophy systems here in Vanguard. It is a problem for teams trying to approach this lane.
Yeah, I'm not too sure why Ultra Academy just over-invested themselves. They knew Real was back there. You had to clear out your backside first, and, well, now, as you said, now you're staring down the barrel of a big money hill. It's not like Ultra Academy EU are playing with any glide bombs in their back pocket. I don't think that we actually have any streaks that we're going to be using to go forward. They have to do it with their raw gun skill. Beans will find 2. That's coming off of ring. Furious is trying to work their way over towards this tank, and they're just going to get cut down from all the crosses. Rocker Academy are being so proactive of making sure that they're catching Ultra Academy in unforced errors, and by way of that they're trying to bulldoze their way towards a lot of these hard points, you're going to have another player slip the net. Journey's already worked their way across the map, Brody.
This was a huge hard point, though, I think, overall in this game, right? Rocker Academy, we said it, they get a full 60. Ultra Academy might find themselves in a spot of problems, and as you say now, they might even find themselves in a bigger problem because Journey in from behind, unfortunately, will fall to Harry there. So Rocker Academy, their key to break in early, has effectively dissipated, but now still going to be spawning in from behind. This spawn trap can kind of funnel you in here. You do have to be careful that you do not feed streaks away to the Ultra Academy EU side, and that's why they're playing this slow. They know they have time to work with, but all of these kills go in the way of Ultra Academy EU. As I say it, Real comes through, picks up 2, metals with another one as well. They are going to be chipping away at the defense, but they're able to break on through.
Be able to, I mean, you have to at that point, too. If you don't break right there, Rocker Academy very much so could have closed things out, but through the front, Furies needs to get Mixie. Is going to be able to turn down Lucky again. This is going to be a little bit of a brighter spot for Ultra Academy because now they can work a little bit of a spawn trap. 15 seconds remaining. You're inside 4. You got to be able to take a keen focus on the rotation. Even though you might be able to battle for the back 10 seconds for Rocker Academy, it is a hop, skip, and a literal jump across the map of Gavutu to get over towards P5. But again, there's always these players for Rocker Academy that are being proactive to try to hit these routes. And this time around, it will be metals. They do have Real here as well, trying to get some beach control to break it to 5.
Yeah, 26 seconds away from victory. Our Rocker Academy, you manipulate these spawns correctly, you're in a great position. Of course, Ultra Academy, you trying to make sure they hold on to that boat position. Real, though, can he play spoiler? Or can Stevo or Vortex take him out of the equation? Well, the kills come through. It's going to be Rocker Academy winning that wave. That is detrimental now. Just 20 seconds shy of victory. Ultra Academy, you have perhaps one more hit at this before they give on up. And now Journey coming in for a devastating flank. Can he put a stop to them? Well, actually, some pressure now being faced from the front. It is now going to be Journey. He will put a stop to it. Real holds strong inside the hill. Ultra Academy should still spawn close, but there's really only one player that could put a stop to this. Rocker Academy should be walking away with a victory here in map number 1, and it's a devastating P3 hold that really does it for me, Andy.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, more than that, right, Brody? I mean, you go all the way back to P1 in that set of hard points when we finally got into this matchup, right? You saw when P2 was right around like the 20-second, 30-second mark or so. It's okay to be able to try to battle for the scrap time at that point, but Ultra Academy, they just full flood the front of the hard point. And because of that, Rocker Academy almost find themselves a gifted lane to be able to then move themselves in the backside of green. Real was back there. They just had to find 1 kill, and then the spawns flipped because everybody from Ultra Academy were past mid-map. They ended up spawning closer towards ring, even though P2 was in firm possession of Rocker Academy. They took a proper time to be able to lose the gunfight, I'll say that much, because then they all spawned in for P3 again. The break inside P3 with this raw gun skill is very difficult to do unless your autos are just absolutely beaming from top ring. And because they could never get into the back of that hard point, it spiraled out of control. The same thing happened over towards 4. Although Ultra Academy exhausting a lot of time to finally break in for the front, they didn't. It would have ended right there. They kept themselves in a spawn trap, and the same thing could be said about at the tail end of 5 as well. Every single time Ultra Academy were trying to get themselves inside of the hard point, it is monotonous to say the least on Gavutu. If you don't find those gunfights convincingly, and you can't flood into the backside of these hard points like 3, 4, and 5, well, then the enemy team, this time being Rocker Academy, are just going to continuously spawn in and always just flood going back and towards the hill. They'll have the reinforcement with numbers, and by proxy and a war of attrition alone, they'll be able to close out the game like they did.
Yeah, shocker really, isn't it? The Rocker Academy, strongest hardpoint as ever, are able to win map number 1 in the series. It was a question we had, right? How different are Ultra Academy EU going to look coming into Season 2, of course, with the roster change of which they have made? Well, look, we've only seen them in 1 map so far, and it is one of Rocker Academy's, Rocker Academy's strongest game mode here in European challenges, so they will not be too disappointed about that one. I kind of wonder, in a way, if we can go back to the map screen in just a second so we can actually give you guys a proper analysis of what the rest of the map set does look like here, Andy, because, as we said before, it is extremely interesting in a way, and there are a couple of reasons this could be. Let's just go over this quickly again. We can't actually show you right now, I believe, but we can at the very least talk about it. Next up is Desert Siege Search and Destroy, and this is a map that you and I said, well, surely because Rocker Academy had lost it a couple of times in Season 1, I don't think they've actually won a Desert Siege Search and Destroy so far. They should have veered this.
Yeah, so they only played it 1 time through Season 1. That was actually against Sucru's Bakery, and it was not close. It wasn't even competitive. It was 1-6 in favor of Sucru's Bakery, and it was just bad timings all the way through and through. And I honestly think that if you're Rocker Academy, obviously there has been an extensive time between the end of Season 1 and now that you're probably going to be looking at this team to continuously try to practice their worser maps, right? The Atlanta phase effect is, as we were talking about it in the digital green room, if you will, before we actually ended up going live, that you're probably looking at this Rocker Academy roster thinking, why are they playing their worst maps? Well, it's the best way to practice it, especially in a tournament format of a round robin. There's going to be more pressure for Ultra Academy, you would feel, especially for Rocker Academy coming in towards this matchup as the favorite team. I mean, they're the Season 1 champions, for crying out loud. They can almost pick a few other maps that go through this set to be able to win it out. But that's where you're probably going to be seeing the Desert Siege and the Gavutu control as well. It didn't work out for them. The same thing for map 3 as what I was just talking about for map 2 throughout the entirety of Season 1, and specifically even versus this team, even when Weeman was playing with Vortex and Co., they still lost that in map number 3, their very first matchup of round robin in Season 1, 1-3 as well. But they had the choice to be able to force that map pick. The same thing for Desert Siege if they played the vetoes correctly. And I feel like that's what you're probably going to end up seeing for a lot of these teams, especially when it's that close to the top of the totem pole, to get the best practice possible when it comes down to those playoff matches.
It's kind of a double-edged sword in a way, right? Because this match, at the end of the day, it was very similar to what happened in the first season, albeit, you know, the back then, the team priorly known as Money Form. They actually ended up falling to the originals, and that was the thing that killed them in the end and got them to fail making it in towards playoffs. But in a way, it is very similar to Season 1. This match should, technically speaking, be a seeding match in a way. You know, at the end of the day, these guys are very likely, I think on paper, and I might be a bit too early to call, are probably going to be the number 1 and number 2 teams in European challenges this season. You just look on paper. The way I view this is surely Ultra Academy EU, with the team that they have, with the changes they've made, with how good Furious looked last season, they can't play sixth again, right? That's how I'm viewing this, in my opinion. On paper, they just look too strong as a roster, and that's not to discredit anybody else in the league. That said, the seeding might turn out important at the end of the day, because you got to think, I mean, third seed might well be someone like Sukri's Bakery, right? Who are also a very strong team and have looked only to get stronger. They did just beat Rocker Academy in Cup number 6 after all. So, look, seeding will matter at the end of the day, but I think you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head there, Andy. More likely than not, a lot of the maps we're seeing today, even though, look, I've been saying for a while, please stop playing Rocker Academy on bloody Berlin Hardpoint, but teams still keep on doing it. You know, at the end of the day, it is probably just a test. Get your maps out of the way. In these kind of matches where maybe they're not as important and ultimately will just be for seeding. But we didn't get a chance to talk about it as we got into map number 1. I do want to talk about it here, Andy. Toronto Ultra Academy EU. Toronto, they've picked up the prior Money Form roster. Furious has joined this team. He looked so good on the originals last season.
Yeah, he did. I mean, Furious, if you're talking about a player that was coming out from that team, especially for the originals who upset X Money for him to be able to find themselves as a playoff team.
Oh, yeah.
It's Furious, baby. I mean, he finished off the entire season with a 1.02 KD, even though that they were finding a lot of bad juju throughout the entirety of their round-robin play. They really got it together, and Furious was that X factor. He was that player, that flex player, if you will, that was always just running amok with the SMG when he needed to, when, say, their SMG duo of Nile at the time was having a very lackluster performance. Furious was right there to get things absolutely going for their team, and that's what's going to be awesome, again, raising the stake again. How was Furious going to slot into this team? We knew that hardpoint was going to be a little bit shaky, but now when it gets into Search and Destroy, this has to be the immediate calling that the team has to find success as we load in. It's already a 3v2. Bomb needs to be dealt with soon. It needs to be defused, actually. And, well, as soon as Furious tries to go for a top-down battle, it's going to be immediately gunned. They know where Harry's at as well, Brody. This round should be all but thrown by the wayside.
Yeah, I think Furious thought there for a second. He was getting like visions of Zoe Kravitz or something. My guy was like, yeah, I've gone to see the Batman, emulating that right there. Didn't exactly work out for Furious, but look, you got to do what you got to do in these rounds as he will end up falling. Good round coming in here from Rocker Academy to kick things off. This team, of course, was very good at Search and Destroy last season. And Ultra Academy, not so good when they were Money.
No, and that's what's really interesting, right? Is because when you're thinking about Vortex, they're all the different teams that he's been with historically. War, Singularity, always been a fantastic Search and Destroy team. So we'll have to see if they can get it together. It's Beans with the sniper, looking over top of the Dune side, almost expecting for a little bit of resilience. But it's actually Real that does find first blood. I think that was towards the middle of the map already.
It's interesting, isn't it? Real here on Desert Siege is the one that's getting through all those nook and crannies and finding the first bloods. Even worse here for Ultra Academy. Furious will fall, so now a 4 versus 2. The Sniper of Lucky still up here. What do Harry and Beans have in their back pocket? Well, they found themselves basically on the other side of the map. Rocker Academy kind of got them pinned in, and you got to imagine with all the utility being thrown their way, they probably have some semblance of an idea as to where they are located, but not exactly. Harry might be able to find his way through the dunes. Unpronounced. Well, is Lucky going to see him? I imagine Lucky has actually just seen him. Made the call. There you go. Good reaction from Medals to get that player off the back of the information. Now Beans left on the B bomb site. Can he do anything? Absolutely not. He does take down one player with him, but nonetheless, it's inevitable there that he's going to.
One player is just not going to be good enough to be able to close out a round now, isn't it, Brody? I mean, when you're thinking about that first blood, I'm pretty sure because it was Real onto Steve-O, it had to have been over towards University. It had to have been going down at least outside of the window over by the train tracks. So trying to get middle of the map possession is just about everything when it comes down to trying to get control of this map. And when the defense start to get themselves that numbers advantage, well, obviously you're not going to be able to get that bomb plant anytime soon. Really got to hope that you be able to find these picks. And well, Beans now through the third round, I believe, that they're rolling out with this R98K is going to be looking for the pick, but it's Furious with the Automatons going to shut down Real from getting things too mixy or too wily towards the middle of the map.
And First Blood finally going to go the way of Ultra Academy here. Now, they have to work off the back of this to win this round. Rocker Academy seem a little bit more unsure, but if they can get rid of the Sniper of Beans over towards B, this will become a lot more of a realistic proposition to get this bomb down. Or hey, Andy, maybe they just want to get it down straight away. That is exactly what's going to happen. Now, it's about their reaction. Beans has the information that nobody has swung wide to the dunes. They know that people are going to be mostly around this university area. But Journey, can he get the kill? No, he cannot. Furious slaps him down. It's just Lucky left up in a 1 versus 4, and well, being the best main AR in Europe in Season 1's not going to matter there. He falls, and it's a round to Ultra Academy, a flawless one.
I mean, Furious was beaming there, too. I mean, it just... I don't know, this is a very tough head glitch alone when he was battling Journey, but Journey even had the snapper, but Furious just absolutely slams him through the sand and just completely tucks him. That is just what you almost expect from Furious, who does find 3 in that round, and I was nervous, too, with Beans being more or less the sole defender over here. Ultra Academy really wanted to play for the retake. I mean, they got it just by finding themselves a lot of good gunfights, but Beans did not deny the initial plan to come through. And you got to hope that they ride on some of this momentum going forward. And a big tussle through the middle of the map, I don't believe will be amounting towards anything. If you're Ultra Academy, you have to assume that there's going to be a lot of presence over here. You know that there is Lucky down over on the dune side, but can't find the pick yet. It's Harry for first on the medals.
Intriguingly as well, Lucky has put away that sniper rifle, by the way. If he had one, he might have been able to whip Beans out of the play, but Grade's going down now. Lucky will end up taking down Vortex, and now 3 versus 2. Numbers in favor of Ultra Academy! And look at that from Beans. Venomous as ever will take down 1. Certainly leaves Lucky in a precarious position now. 1 versus 3. They know exactly where he is as well from that earlier information gain. He is stuck in a world of trouble here, and I think in this position, your best thing you could possibly do is try to get out either unharmed so that you're not feeding, or maybe take Harry or Furious away. They can't earn any streaks later down the line. Just 10 seconds left, and even worse, Beans will end up picking that kill in the end. Ultra Academy, again, the aggression, too strong.
Well, what's impressive is that it's actually counter-aggression, Brody. It's Rocker Academy that are wanting to get aggressive. Remember, at the beginning of that round, 3 players just bulldoze their way defensively inside a university, and it's not a bad strategy. But through back-to-back rounds, that's where Real and Metals have been able to walk away with first bloods. But what Ultra Academy are doing now is that they're almost giving it up, expecting for them to almost go back and forth, that if we're not giving you information, we're not trying to go for the first blood inside a university. We're going to wait for you to challenge on out, and we'll just be holding the angle and work off of numbers from there. It's a beautiful little adaptation if you were early coming through from Ultra Academy.
Now look at this, fast as you like again on the offense. Our Rocker Academy, but even faster or Ultra. Look how far Furious is pushed up, by the way. He has so much map control. I don't think he knows how much map control he has. Spots out Lucky a little bit late, but it doesn't matter. He gets the kill in the end anyway. And now he's ready for the counter push from Real. Shots do go through, but not going to reign true here in this particular gunfight, as he will not pick up that frag. On the other hand, you have the dominating Harry with the sniper rifle. Can he pick up either of these players? Might just do it with the frag instead. Knows that it is a problem. As soon as Metal see him, that he might fall, and Harry just going to think better of it, backs away for now.
Better to keep your life going forward. You at least know where this player is located at, as Real is the last remaining in a 1v3. Has to almost really just clinch up and clutch up at the same time, which you can tell by the camera my voice is probably not going to be happening. You got so many different corners you got to be worried about, but as a whole, I like this nice little proactive play coming through. As soon as he tries to get off the map, I think Harry actually stops him before he actually falls off. I don't think that he ended up getting the full clay off the map there, but even still, yeah, Harry ended up getting it. Look at this. Last second, before you get out, Harry absolutely denies it. But even still, Harry with the sniper this time around, where it was Beans for the past few. Now they can obviously show in their big bag of tricks what they have to offer for at least us as an audience at home, that Harry can at least break out the sniper. We have seen it in previous years. Beans was not finding the utmost value with it. Harry was definitely taking a little bit more of an aggressive angle, was finding kills with it as well. Is now on 4 in a row. Any kills will be required until they can actually get that glide bomb. Puts it away, pulls out the automaton, and Beans has one as well.
I really love this from Ultra Academy at the moment. They're waiting for Rocker Academy to get over aggressive, and the auto shots of a player like Beans going to be a little bit too strong for Rocker Academy to deal with. That being said, nice reprisal coming in here from Rocker Academy. It is traded on out. Beans does pick up Real, so 2 for 2 we go. Now, the fight inside University Metals versus Beans, and Beans is better. It's a 2v1 now. Just lucky left up in a 1 versus 2. He is caught up on the flank, and Ultra Academy here taking the lead even more.
Almost just feels like Rocker Academy are just getting frustrated with a lot of these opening breaks. Again, just trying to force out all of these first bloods by trying to get aggressive angles inside a University. Ultra Academy are just playing patiently, just expecting for everything that I just said. And Rocker Academy, the moment that they try to work for these aggressive angles, look, it's a very dangerous, high risk, potential for high reward call, but you almost have to assume that Rocker Academy needs to try to exert the clock and force out an error from Ultra Academy. Again, a lot of University mid-map control is being covered so far for Rocker Academy, and Beans is actually going to try to take this angle. They're going to aggressively push through the doors. It's going to activate Metals for first.
Going to be a trade at the end of the day, so hey, this isn't the worst position in the world for either team particularly, although Rocker Academy haven't really gained much ground over towards A, even less so now as Furious will put a stop to them, and that is information gain. But you've got to be careful. Harry up here towards the tower. Real has spotted him out. Journey going to work off the back of that information to take him down. And now Vortex. 1 versus 2. The man has a lot of information here. He's a search and destroy mastermind. Can he win this 1 versus 2? The bomb down. He's already got past Real, and the shots do not work against Journey. Now just going to play his life, and this is fine for Vortex. Still has time, comes round. Look at the aggression to take out Real. Now a 1v1 between Journey and Vortex. Can he get this done? 25 seconds left on the clock. Vortex checking every single nook and cranny. Have an idea of where Journey is. Unfortunately, he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head. Surely doesn't have a gun there either, as Rocker Academy, well, the 1v1 is going to be won by Journey.
He was checking every single corner, every single nook and cranny, but the one place where he didn't check, Brody, was behind. Journey just ends up immediately chasing back through the mid door all the way through University. Catches the timing, just waited for the opportunity when Stevo just posted up on top of that train car. It was definitely all there for Stevo to be able to recognize, hey, he might be putting himself in a position to try to maybe gun me if I try to go for the defuse. It's not going to be the case. Journey has been finding a lot of value with getting aggressive, especially towards the tail end of Season 1. Nice little set stun is going to come over the top there for Stevo, at least confirm that there's a player on the other side of that tower, but now Metals is going to be in a very precarious position. I believe did see Stevo challenge down. That'll be communicated for Journey for that first blood. That'll be bombed down, of course, forcing out a 3v3 early.
I was going to say the trade is worth it, right? Because 3 versus 3 in this situation with the knowledge as to where Bomb is huge in favor of Rocker Academy. Unfortunately, though, they do end up losing the second player in Real. So 2 versus 3, at the very least, they are on the defense. Maybe you're lucky you can pull something special off with Kar98K. Nice, wouldn't it, if you could get it done? But right now, not really in a position inside University to do anything. Of course, has been spotted out by Harry as well. Does he at the very least get away with his life? Yes, he does. It's only temporary, though. Gets taken down by Furious, and now it's Metals left up in a 1 versus 3. I think he knows he might find himself in a position of trouble here, but he does pick up the first kill versus Beans. It's a knife gunfight to win. 40 seconds on the clock here, Andy. It's a lot of time to work with.
Got to be able to clear out all the way to the back. Look, you probably know that Harry's still over in the dunes, but are you going to expect that Furious is all the way in their spawn? The answer, well, he had a little bit of a hint, a little bit of a sense. Spidey senses might have been tingling there, Brody, but ended up getting the snap nor the beam as Furious was just playing on the backside of this box. So, I mean, going forward, again, we're almost expecting out from this Rocker Academy when they were finding value in their search and destroys, right? It's either Real or Journey to get Mixie towards the middle of the map. No matter which one it is, it could be Bocage for all I care, but that's typically where they end up finding their first bloods. They immediately get denied, and Lucky, one of the highest first blood percentage, is a non-benefactor right now. Is 3 and 7, not finding a lot of value with the sniper. Ultra Academy up on map point. Truly their game to lose. Will be stunned up here is Furious. Nice little challenge comes through from Journey, and to get away with their life. Big numbers advantage.
Numbers advantage is quickly dissipated here. 3 now in terms of lives. Real does have the bomb in hand, but isn't quite so certain to get it down just yet. Again, it is Ultra Academy. He were able to follow up with another kill of their own, and now a 2 versus 3. Beans with the sniper rifle, watching over a B. Doesn't exactly have the close corner. So if Rocker Academy do want, they should be able to get it down. But look at this little slice of air that he is looking through at the moment, Real. Little cheeky play. And now for Ultra Academy, I think their butts are starting to get itchy here. They're on the move. Lucky going to spot down one. Vortex going to be dealt with as well. Look at that collapse coming through from Lucky and Real.
Should surely be the round. Bomb's going to get planted today. Should know that Beans is definitely working with the Car 98K here. Probably saw a glint or two while I was going over there. It's about how Beans can play those. Look, the Rat Pistol is deadly. We'll find themselves an Automaton. They find some timing on Lucky. He actually saw him cross. Now, if he can end up at least isolating one of these picks, it would be massive. But with the Rocker Academy, they're going to force out the engagement to get up close. 18 seconds remaining, Brody. It's not looking too doable for Beans. Does able to find the first, but that should be immediately exclaimed for Real to come check the bomb. Tries to hop on it. Needs to start defusing. It takes 7.5 seconds to get that defuse off, and Real will find the timing from behind. Nice little collapse. The isolation of kills was just so good, and although the first blood mounted towards a trade, the moment that Rocker Academy start playing more methodical and just wait for the picks to come all the way through, Ultra Academy were throwing all their stuns and nades early for the information. Once it gets down to that mid-round time, I would say about like the 45-second margin, if they have no idea where Rocker Academy are just holding these angles at, Ultra Academy have to force the issue. They have to be able to aggressively look towards a lot of these different angles to be able to isolate the plays, whether or not it's a bomb plant or whether it's trying to catch a player on the rotation. The moment that they do, Rocker Academy, the chemistry is all there. They have each other's backs.
Once again here, look at this slot from Real. Just taking a look over towards where Harry was in prior rounds. Has that knowledge. Metals able to pick up one. He survives to the second as well, but a little bit slower on the reaction. Furious, not only does he get the trade, he gets the information on another player's location, gets away with a kill, but now maybe Journey can do something here. Has he spotted out both of these players? No! Oh, you don't even finish your first kill, Journey. That is tough. And now Lucky left up in a 1 versus 3 to save this search and destroy. The best they are in Europe in Season 1. Can he pull off the clutch now? We'll get Beans. There's the first kill. Now the information. Do Harry and Furious work off this fast? They do not. It is not an irrational reaction.
Lucky's going to try to at least clear out the back, but again, you have no idea where all these different angles could be held. Actually, spot Furious cross all the way back towards the spawn. Where do you go with this if you are Lucky? Try to clear all the way the backside of your spawn here in a 1v2. Be a little bit smart. There's a multitude of different positions that these players could be located at. Does spot off Furious, but there's no way he has any idea that Harry's going to be behind him. That is absolutely the case. Ultra Academy be able to close out the search and destroy. Got ourselves a little bit of a series going forward, Brody, and they did a great job early on. Again, thwarting the aggression coming out from Rocker Academy very early on. Basically forced the hand that they had to play slower, a little bit more methodical. But that round completely goes absolutely the other way, is so long as Journey doesn't exemplify that much trigger discipline. Look, trigger discipline is great. Definitely a big fan of trigger discipline, but at least confirming one of those kills going 1-for-1 on that big flank like that would have been a little bit better. But the simple fact that Harry stays alive and is able to get on the other side of that train car just completely flips the script as far as how that round was probably going to be going for Rocker Academy.
Just incredible. Really well played overall from Ultra Academy EU, and what a difference it makes, right? One season, last season, albeit, yeah, right, they had Wee Man on the squad instead of Furious, but the team was terrible at Search and Destroy last year. I don't think there is really any other way to say it, right? And what was it, 1-5 or 1-6 when Search and Destroy by the end of their stage or something? It wasn't a good record, I think.
1-7 total, yeah.
It wasn't good. And I think, you know, coming to this one, they look a lot stronger in Search and Destroy. And I think a lot of it is the proactiveness that we're seeing from this squad, right, Andy? Because they're picking up the First Bloods. Maybe, you know, if they get First Blooded, there's an immediate trade coming on through. But then beyond that as well, you're seeing time and time again, they're forcing the issue. They're looking for more kills time and time again. So many rounds there. They're able to get the numbers early on. And Rocker Academy couldn't really do much by that point. That being said, you know, Rocker Academy, they themselves didn't look too bad. They've shown marked improvements, I think, in Desert Siege Search and Destroy.
Oh, totally. I mean, when you go back to that 1-6 loss versus Sucre's Bakery were essentially just exploiting the one simple fact that I brought up continuously throughout that Desert Siege Search and Destroy for Rocker Academy, that they find value in their Search and Destroy maps by being the better aggressive team, by being able to force the issue and being able to find these First Bloods, sometimes walking away with 2 for 1 in a lot of different instances, coming away from their SMGs, specifically Journey when it comes down to Search and Destroy, or Lucky, playing those very aggressive angles with the Automaton or the Kar98K, but as I was highlighting in the meat and potatoes of that Search and Destroy on Desert Siege, Lucky with the Kar98K was a non-benefactor. With the Automaton, was finding slight work, but we're talking a very stark difference in between both Journey and Lucky going about like maybe 9-5, 9-4, through a lot of the Search and Destroy map wins versus what they just saw, or what we just saw out of that Desert Siege Search and Destroy out of those 2 players. But Ultra Academy were doing very well, as you said, was being proactive against a lot of the aggressive angles. They knew the game plan for Rocker Academy through those opening 2 rounds where they did end up winning it, that they were not finding the value, they were not finding the trades inside of University, so they said, screw it, you can have it. You can be the professors on this Search and Destroy, that's fine. But the moment that you leave that area and you try to come defuse, or you try to retake our bomb site, you try to get a bomb plant yourself, those angles get immediately taken out, and there are an immediate crossfires, especially when you're talking about that BS&D side. It was wonderfully played for Ultra Academy.
Absolutely it was, and there you go. You see how the series layout now reflects off the back of that. Desert Siege Search and Destroy will be going the way of Toronto Ultra Academy 6-4, and that means we're 1-1 in the series now. We will be seeing a Blinn hardpoint in map number 4. Before we get there, though, it's going to be Gavutu Control, and this is very interesting because we had a very lengthy discussion about whether or not it was going to be Gavutu or Tuscan, because of course Rocker Academy being the higher seed in the current situation where there are only 2 control maps, they get to choose what map is being played. We already discussed this before we got into the Search and Destroy, Andy. The choice very simply is down to the fact they want to try this, but it does open up an opportunity here for Ultra Academy to take this map.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, you and I were going back and forth about it just continuously.
Yeah,
I mean,
arguing.
Look, when it comes down to this Minnesota Rocker Academy, they played it all of 4 times throughout the entirety of Season 1. And they only won it a single time, and I think that was a 3-2 win versus the Originals, and they won it because they finally stopped just absolutely running and throwing away their lives over by the A zone, trying to get that back in its favor when they were already down in lives for 1, and for 2, when the clock could have just been completely taken a look at and be like, look, we just hold B for the next, like, minute 45. But Gavutu Control, I think when you're looking at this for Rocker Academy going forward, is you want to make sure that you at least are steady at this map. Tuscan Control, all throughout last season, 5-2 overall. They were definitely a lot better at it, to say the least, but I think that the Gavutu Control, they definitely want to be looking at to at least find it in a better form going forward, because you can find a lot of good practice, whether it's through the cups. Yeah, you can scrim, but teams aren't going to play Control the same way in scrims, or even sometimes in those cups, depending on when you do run into these teams, versus when it comes down to the Season 2 of the Elite. You're going to be ratting it out a lot of the time, because it's still ticks. It's not ticks that favor you for that round number 5. It is overall kills. You have to be able to break those, more or less like a hard point going forward. And I think that in between where we were for Season 1 and Season 2, for this team of Rocker Academy, we saw that for a lot of different instances. On that Gavutu hardpoint, Brody, they rectified a lot of their issues from what we saw, at least in their loss. I think that it was in the first best of 5 versus Revenge Tour in Grand Finals. being a lot more comfortable, watching their crosses, and make sure that they were playing with a lot more power positions. If that gets exemplified specifically on their offenses for Gavutsu, well, things can get a little bit out of hand for them, or for Ultra Academy.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is a chance, as you say, for Rocker Academy to improve here on Gabutu control. I think, by all accounts, they definitely do not need to improve their Tuscans. So, look, this is a good opportunity here early on in Season 2. You lose this, it's not the end of the world. You've still got 6 more matches to go. But to kick things off, it's going to be a wave of kills coming through here for the Ultra Academy side. Nicely done to, at the very least, get some pressure up towards green. And that is what you need here on this map. Rocker Academy, though, they quickly deal with it. Is just one player left up over there. And, well, it was Vortex, but he's going to fall.
Lucky, again, not to continuously put a spotlight on him, but, I mean, he is definitely the player to be watching out for. 80% of their eliminations, of their kills, I should say, in control from Season 1 were not traded. Definitely a guy to be watching out for. On a map like Gavutsu, you can definitely feel activated, as Lucky will start off on 3. They'll find 2 in a row. Evo able to get at least a turn to be able to shut down Real. That's immediately going to turn into map positioning, you would think, but Journey on the heels, immediately trying to get that ring control back in their favor. Now Ultra Academy, with 25 seconds remaining, need a scramble to get themselves on the Z zone.
Oh, Metals. Can he do anything over towards the AA gun? Apparently not, as Vortex and Furious going to pick up 2. It is going to be traded here, though. Beans now. What can he do? Just needs to get the one player up top, and we'll do it. That's going to be Real down for the count. And now Ultra Academy, 12.3 seconds left on the clock. You've got to get some tick progression here. You have to make sure you basically capture A in this go of things. And actually, they have some presence in from behind. I'm not entirely sure whether or not Rocker Academy are aware of it. Vortex has been spotted out and is dealt with. And on the other side of things as well, Metals comes through, disrupts the process for Ultra Academy onto A. Bean's the last player left up, but it doesn't matter anyway. Point A will be secured. Another 60 seconds added to the clock.
But look at the lives. I mean, Rocker Academy, they had themselves that 2-3 life lead, and instead of just trying to get ring control, try to get top of green, try to wait for a couple of the exits, they throw a lot of lives to be able to try to get that A zone back in his favor. Now, be able to fully reset a lot of these kills and a lot of these trades ended up benefiting the defense for Rocker Academy, as they're able to get themselves top LSD, able to get back on top of ring. Now it's Ultra Academy, quite literally an uphill battle going forward, but you found a lot more convincing kills going forward. That would have got scary for Rocker Academy, but they are looking at ring control, and this is how a lot of teams have been able to get themselves on that B zone. But the battle on 2 different fronts, not going to be a big one for Ultra Academy going forward until Stevo finally find that kill. Beans is still existing top ring, and now you got Stevo over by the B zone, stopping on that clock for reinforcements to come through.
Real take this slow and steady if you like, or maybe just go as explosive as ever. He's able to pick up that first kill versus Stevo. And the kill is most definitely going in favor of Rocker Academy here in this particular moment. There are still present for Ultra Academy over towards the anti-air gun. It needs to be fast. It needs to be Furious here for Ultra Academy. And it is now going to be Furious on our screens. Can he do any damage here with 7 seconds left? I don't think so. That wave of kills probably should shut the door in this round. And you can already see it from Beans going fully static like a weeping angel in the last few seconds of this round. No need to give up any more lives.
Wasn't the biggest life deficit that Ultra Academy are going to be fighting back from going in towards this round. But you're absolutely right. Definitely don't want to be feeding in more lives. Typically when it comes down to Gavutsu control, especially when 2 teams are very, very close, like how we're almost perceiving these 2 teams to be at this juncture, will go down to around 5 more often than not, and that is how it is designated for a team to get that round 5 ever so favored defensive side, as if the team that has the more lives remaining at the end, those 4 rounds, will end up getting the defensive side. But we'll have to see. Rocker Academy on offense do it quite often on Tuscan. Gonna be looking to see if they can get it to be a comfortable part of their game plan when it comes down to Gavutsu. Immediate top LST control, but the issue about this is that nobody was going to expect them to full flank, so Stevo might find some time to blow up this play.
Indeed he might. Needs to actually do it, and there you go. He does actually pick up the first kill. Now looking for some more damage as well. I think the Real notices it for a second, but it's all good. It's going to be Metals to finish off Stevo, so the pressure alleviated somewhat, but right back at it are Ultra Academy. Nicely done here from Furious to pick up that first kill, but again, there's always one more pesky Rocker Academy player that seems to be hanging around this LSD. It's Metals now with the Automaton. Harry is pushed up, and now for Rocker Academy. couple more kills, you should start be able to get progression onto this A point. But again, it's players like these, players like Beans that are able to cut these players off in the spawn before they could even get there.
That stun's going to allow Lucky to actually cross. I believe that he was actually the one to throw that, and now he knows that Beans is over here. Real's going to try to pick it up. Beans at least go 1 for 1. They sure can. By that point in time, Ultra Academy also finding value from the front. Stevo's here yet again. Rocker Academy, again, just scrambling to try to get themselves over towards this A zone, just faltering what Ultra Academy are bringing to the table from all their pinches.
Now Metals and Real onto the point here. Rocker Academy, 15 seconds left on the clock. I'm starting to see the same pressure that Ultra Academy faced in their offensive push last round. Even worse. Furious, what can he do? Only able to get one, fortunately, for Rocker Academy here. They will get their second tick of progression on towards A, and I think that is the signal that Ultra Academy needed to just push on back, say, look, again, no need to hemorrhage any more lives in the current state of control. That would just be ridiculous. Let's reposition ourselves for the next push from Rocker Academy. A has already fallen. That's why you're seeing all of this pressure from Ultra onto that anti-air gun.
Look at that. Beach control for Ultra Academy, as you said. Then you also just have LST E5 control now for Rocker Academy. Trying to get into the backside of green would definitely be the position that you want. You have a lot of good angles to be able to look at this B zone, but the moment that Real and Journey try to work their way forward on the backside of green and the top side of ring, they'll get cut down. The initial push for Rocker Academy will be stuffed. Now you have a lot of map position to play with if you are Ultra Academy.
You gotta find some way to break this. I know, I make it sound easy. It is not easy whatsoever. Ultra Academy, they have some serious gunny on their team. Rocker Academy, they do have one secret weapon, though. Real, fully operational battle station in behind enemy lines. Can he do any damage? That's the question, of course. Journey has also made his way through the mid-map, and I think Real here opting to not play Secret Agent any longer. Just going to go straight on towards the point here to try and disrupt the piece that Ultra Academy had on towards the anti-air gun. This is going to force those players to turn around and deal with him, and in process, going to alleviate some of that pressure up front, but Harry right back down, clamps down onto Real and Metals, and just like that, the live's starting to look a little bit more oppressive now for Rocker Academy. Just 10 seconds left on the clock. Perhaps one more push is all that they have left in the tank, if that. But at this point, Andy, deal some damage if you can. Try and take down some of those lives, because it's going to be a 6-life advantage at the end of the round for Ultra.
Great shout there. You know, Ultra Academy with that 6-for-life lead. That's where you saw just a little bit of hesitation. I mean, like, look, you found this initial kill up top on Ring, but you don't want to try to flood there soon after, because you probably would have lost all 4 of those lives, and then we would have been talking about a 6-life lead, maybe even about a 10-life lead, and that is a steep deficit to try to claw your way back from, unless Rocker Academy come out of the woodworks and absolutely swing it going forward. Ultra Academy, again, like what we were seeing on the Search and Destroy, just being very proactive with making sure that they at least find the kills, find the numbers necessary before denying too much map away from Rocker Academy, but got to be able to try to do it on offense. Took them a long time to be able to get that A zone. Metals, unfortunately, is going to falter to that barrel down there over by the docks, but going forward off of this now, because Ultra Academy found themselves with those early numbers, they're trying to get themselves a lot of map position. Would have been big if Sivo was going to be able to get over towards that B zone. Nevertheless, Harry is on that A zone, stopping that clock, allowing reinforcements to encroach forward.
That's a big kill from Lucky at the very least to take down Furious, making sure that the path is now open to find their way back onto the point, and also to make sure that Vortex doesn't get to the top of that LST position, because let me tell you, I've played many a ranked play game where somebody has got to the top of that thing, and it is very frustrating to deal with. Ultra Academy, though, still the pressure inside LST. Harry, you gotta finish your food, buddy. You will fall, but it doesn't matter anyway. The trade is in from Stevo, and I do like the proactiveness from Ultra Academy. They immediately try to transfer themselves over towards the anti-air gun, but in doing so, they give up the pressure inside green. They allow a player like Lucky to now find his way onto the point, and even worse now, Rocker Academy, the reinforcements on the way here. Andy, Lucky able to pick up one, Journey in for another one as well. Stevo gonna survive in the mid-map, and he gets away.
Journey's buying so much time. He's still over here, over on behind enemy. Will finally be cut down, but because Ultra Academy were spending into about 2, if not 3 players at a clip, 3 lives, if you will, to try to deal with Journey on the backside of this beach, it puts them in this desperation moment. 20 seconds remaining. They got to get themselves on the A zone. They find the kills at least to get themselves over. But again, nobody's watching the flank. This time it's Real to be able to find themselves at least one. That should be good enough to be able to run down this clock further. Nobody expected Beans to at least hop on the B zone to stop the clock further.
Yeah, this is nice from Beans. Again, though, I mean, maybe you want to get 1 or 2 kills there for Beans and find yourself a little bit more effective. But at the end of the day, Rocker Academy here, they are pressured off towards A. It's just this one annoying player. Journey is such an annoyance over here. He's done this so many times here in this round. He will finally be dealt with. Again, find ourselves back in that old familiar feeling of just a few seconds left on the clock with the offensive team having to capture A. It's Ultra Academy back in this position, and Rocker Academy once again find themselves in the position where they are going to give it up, but a bit of a different position here for Rocker Academy. They've decided to put more numbers over towards this green side. Vortex perhaps prepared to break it, has been spotted out by Lucky though, and mate, look, if I've learned one thing from casting Call of Duty over the last few months, don't challenge Lucky's auto. Well, maybe do if you're furious.
Well, you know, medium, long range, but I don't know. I just feel that Lucky's playing with a little different of an automaton when it comes down to these close range gunfights. I always feel the MP40 different whenever I'm playing against an MP40, especially at that medium closer range, but down to 35 seconds. You're up at least 2 lives.
Oh.
Well, you were, but Real will find a 2-piece over on top ring, and they're expecting a third from behind. Well, not in time, as Harry will gun them down from the back, but I think what you're mostly going to be looking at, 23 seconds remaining, Ultra Academy, probably not going to be looking at an opportunity for them to get on that B zone, bro. You're just going to be trying to fish out a couple more kills for the end of the round.
Furious knows that somebody is back here. Hey, if you can do some damage at the end of this round, it is huge. Do they turn around to deal with Furious? I think they do, but I think if anything, Furious, as you say, recognizes that it's not a realistic proposition to actually find your way onto the point. It's not realistic to win this round. You go out of this round with a 1 life advantage. You combine out with the 6 that you got in round number 2. Things are looking pretty rosy here for a prospective round number 5. And, well, Rocker Academy, yes, all right, they are 2-1 up. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's just how Gabutu comes down to. Sometimes, you know, currently that round number 5 is decided by kills.
It generally feels like whoever gets that round 5 defense will win out the map. Or the first team to win an offensive round can end up closing the map. We see that a lot, especially when it comes down to teams in North America challengers. And we even saw it a lot through Major number 1. Teams are becoming quite adept on being able to assault the Gavutu control, especially towards that B zone early on. Looks like Rocker Academy were kind of fishing with the idea. Now they end up losing at least 1 number over by the beachfront, but raids are starting to come all the way through. Now that can mean map positioning. That's going to activate Metals to try to get top LSC, to overwatch all the players to try to get over towards this B zone, but Real, a little bit of mistiming there, tries to get on the B zone to try to stop out that clock, and now it's all just falling apart. They've wasted so much time to try to get themselves over towards that B zone. Beans will find themselves too on the tail end of that. Now map positioning in favor for Ultra Academy EU.
That's tough, isn't it? It happens sometimes, you know, you put all your resources into B right off the rip, it can go horrifically wrong. It has done for Rocker Academy off the start of this one. They do have another chance, though. Real's going to try and distract Ultra Academy by starting to make some progression on towards B. Things actually better of it as he now looks to go on the flank, while the rest of his team take the full frontal battle over towards the point, but it doesn't matter anyway. Steve-O's playing sneaky as you like. Ring around the rosy inside this LST. How many more kills can he get? He will be stopped shy of 3. Lucky going to live up to his name there by winning that gunfight, but still the pressure is here from Ultra Academy. They are not ready to give up this point here. Just 11 seconds left. 1 player left up. It's going to be Journey. Can he survive? Absolutely friggin' not. As Ultra Academy here going to push back Rocker, and they will have defense on round number 5.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much settled right there. I mean, you even saw Rocker Academy just desperately understanding, look, we did not have the numbers. It was not a life lead by any stretch of the imagination. I believe going into that round, Ultra Academy EU had about an 8-life lead off the previous ones that we did see from them, and it's just a scary part because Rocker Academy, again, were exhausting so much time to try to make that play happen over towards B. In a bot, Ultra Academy EU, enough time to reposition themselves once they realize, hey, there's nobody flooding over towards A. Let's just make sure that we at least not only go 1-for-1 over by the beachfront, but then immediately shift our focus for when the push inevitably came through. Once that got shut down, Rocker Academy just struggled to be able to get that map position going forward. Again, on offense for this round number 5, we'll try to snowball their way over towards A. We'll at least find themselves a trade through the middle of the map, but again, the flank gets exposed. Evo's able to get back there. It is now looking for some spawn kills. And that's with the opening rip. It is a 4-for-1 start, now a 5-for-1. Ultra Academy, again, just too good, too hot off the rip.
Real had to play his life there. It's tough because we can sit here in the casting booth, right, and say X, Y, Z players should have done this, but it's so tough in this position. On the offense on Gavutu, you need to find a way to break on through. You've got auto players like Harry doing stuff like this. He's on 5 in a row. 2 kills more and it's a glide, but a stun will take him down. Hey, that's Vanguard for you, as Rocker Academy have now broken out of their spawn at the very least. They've got some breathing room. And hey, maybe even a chance to try and grab B. But again, Metals, he was with Journey on this push. Journey gets shut down as well. Mate, every single time Rocker Academy get close to a point, they get shut down.
Yeah, it's all these crosses. It's all these different angles that you're mostly looking at that Ultra Academy. You're just finding a lot of value with it, because when Rocker Academy are trying to barrel their way towards one of these zones, you can even see it on the minimap right now. They're aware that Beans is over here, and they're trying to deal with it, while you also have Lucky trying to at least deal with the players that are coming from the bottom side of green. Metals will finally take down Beans on that very long flank over by Ring, but the moment that starts to happen, now you have an opportunity for Siva through the middle of the map, even finding themselves trades. At least keep these numbers in their favor, even though the A zone will be secured. It is a 3-life deficit that Rocker Academy have, a minute 25 to try to convert this B zone.
Look, this is possible for Rocker Academy. You never want to count a team out. They just have to get Ultra Academy out of these power positions. Harry, of course, over towards the beach front. I don't think this player has any idea where he is. Doesn't finish the kill onto Lucky, though. Lucky going to play his life momentarily. This 1v1 is huge. You do this, you make yourself a little bit more room over towards the anti-air gun. Target 1 has been acquired and demolished. Now, 55 seconds or so left on the clock here in this round. Rocker Academy still looking for the opening. Might Metals find it? He will. There's the first kill on the Furious. If you can turn around and get Harry as well, this is realistic for Rocker Academy, but you don't. Harry, stand strong.
I mean, you would have had to gone godlike back there if you are Metals to be able to find themselves a multi-kill like at that stature. The spawn would have been right behind them, and when the push starts to come through over by the anti-air gun, Ultra Academy are finding themselves trades. They're finding themselves multi-kills of their own. Beans is on 3. 31 and 19 for them, by the way. Does not go unnoticed for me personally about how much active how active they've been throughout the entirety of this. Now down to 20 seconds is a 5-life lead. Rocker Academy, they gotta fly, but Sivo's not gonna let you fly too far. He's clipping wings as they go.
Journey is now on the point. Lucky gonna start to throw out some utility here. This duo has to survive onto the point. Lucky, can he find any vicious angles? He cannot for now. A couple of players over here, both Beans and Harry. Lucky has to get these kills. There is one, looking for the second. He will find it. Rocker Academy down. 3 versus 5. Lucky one more kill. He gets a glide bomb that would be huge, but Furious comes through, wipes him out. That's a sweep the leg right there as Journey left up 1 versus 4. Not a chance, buddy. Ultra Academy put a stop to the momentum before it can go anywhere, but it looked very shaky in the closing moments.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely got questionable. Look, when it comes down to the clutch factor, we have seen this Rocker Academy roster do some crazy things, especially in Respawn, like what Lucky you just saw from Lucky. Almost reinvented the wheel, if you will, to try to make that play happen at the very end. But again, it was just a lot of disjointment, just a lot of plays that would have been perfect had the timing just been maybe a second closer with each other. That's what it comes down on a Gavutsu control, specifically when it comes down to the defensive team. They spawn right behind green. The second you get beach control, they're going to spawn right behind green, more or less, over by that, over by the antenna. And I think you have to be able to recognize this if you are Rocker Academy. You have to at least make sure that you have numbers, and it can be exhausting, specifically of the clock. These type of plays can take about like 10 seconds to manifest itself, but you have to make sure of one simple fact that they never really checked off of their checklist to try to work their way over towards B. Is that Ultra Academy, they were able to recognize the moment that a play was coming through from top ring, they had a player work their way through ship, and were able to completely cut them off inside of that U staircase and blow up the play from behind. The same thing was happening even in that play when Rocker Academy were on offense. I think it was round 4. They were trying to get themselves over towards B initially, and once they were getting themselves over by ring, nobody was really, I guess, in a spot to where they could watch the angle smack dab in the middle of the map, because I believe that Metals was more or less looking at the ship, expecting for a player to hit all the way through. And then I think it was Stevo or Beans, one of those two were always existing on the flank for me, Brody, that were just always getting in from behind, found those flank plays. No, they didn't amount to any massive 8 sprees to be able to get themselves glide bombs, but they were always finding themselves those multi-kills, and when you have a player like Beans or Stevo that were just continuously finding themselves opportunities to work spawn kills defensively, you're always working in an uphill battle, especially when it comes down to Gavutsu. You lose numbers rotating over towards one of those zones just to try to struggle for map position, oh man, it's gonna feel like a blunder.
It's tough, right? Because you and I, we can sit here and analyze all day Gabutu control. There is only a certain extent to which we can analyze it, right? Because it very simply comes down to if you just got to play your life to try and grab that round 5 defense. That is just how strong defense is on control, on Gavutu, and yet again, well, I would hope at the very least that Rocker Academy have learned quite a lot off the back of that map, because they will end up losing it in this series. That was the risk that they took by allowing it into this series, and now they're 2-1 down. Next up is Berlin on Hardpoint, and hey, maybe there is some rainbow to be found after the rain, because Hardpoint on Berlin... Look, mate, look, I said it, and I'll say it after this match, because you and obviously we didn't know. Actually, no, I'll say it now. Every time that somebody plays Rocker Academy on Berlin Hardpoint in Elite, on stream, I will donate some cash to charity. Honestly, mate, I am shook that teams keep on doing this. Now, in this particular occasion, I do get it, because again, it comes back to the conversation you and I said, right, which is that at the end of the day, these teams... they are just trying to practice maps early on in the season when maybe they can afford to lose them and get it out of the way early on, because later on in week 2, that is where you cannot afford to make mistakes if you're a team like Ultra Academy U or Rocker Academy, right? But nonetheless, you look at the map records last season for these two teams on Berlin. Yeah, Rocker Academy hadn't lost one. Ultra Academy have only won one. So it is very different.
Yeah, and that one win that X-Money Forum, now Ultra Academy EU, did win, it was only by 12 points. It was right down to the wire. One last little rotation, one wave of gunfights on the rotation, I believe from 1 to 2, and they were able to close it out. But, I mean, Minnesota Rocker just seemingly cannot do wrong when it comes down to this map mode combo of Berlin Hardpoint. I mean, their closest matchup was all of, 46 points in between two teams. Their overall differential on Hardpoint as a whole is averaging about 52 points a win. That's insane within its own self. And just to go back to the point, I think that it kind of exemplifies further that Rocker Academy could be almost not necessarily throwing maps away. You never want to be throwing maps away, especially in round robin for the elite, because nobody is guaranteed to be a top 4 team for those playoffs. But to find practice, I think, is a little bit better for Rocker Academy. For Ultra EU, you want to be playing to your strengths. And depending on how the picks and bans ended up going, look, they let that Berlin Hardpoint go. It is through. So, obviously, they are going to be feeling some sort of confidence coming in towards this map mode combo versus Rocker Academy, because they're aware, just like we're aware, Brody, that this is Rocker Academy's best map mode combo. Is Berlin Hardpoint. It is undeniable through Season 1. As we said, they did not lose a single one. And I think that Ultra Academy, again, the question still remains, what is Furious going to look like with this team? Being able to get themselves activated. If it's going to be another submachine gun to help out Vortex to try to make these route plays happen, these timings, these holds need to be absolutely pristine if you want to be able to deny Rocker Academy, because they can do it all. We saw it continuously through Season 1. They can break, they can hold, and always win out on rotation. They just, again, can do no wrong when it comes down to Hardpoint. So I think my biggest speculation, not to put a giant periscope on Furious, but what can they do to make a better Hardpoint team out of this Ultra Academy EU roster?
That's the question, isn't it, right? It is going to be something I think they definitely need to improve on, but I think adding Furious to the team is most certainly going to help things. Of course, he had a very strong hardpoint showing in season number 1, finished with a pretty hefty scoreline, but nonetheless, we're getting things on the way here into Berlin Hardpoint, and off the start, it's going to be a couple of kills coming in for Rocker Academy. They are going to be the ones to first put their foot inside the hill and get some time off the back of this, and I love the proactiveness coming out of Metals to push up towards that train platform side to cause some problems for Ultra Academy. The first few seconds here is turning quickly into a mountain of time for Rocker Academy.
But again, another flank play has come through. Steve-O's able to get themselves in towards the back, and Furious is here to help things out. So they know exactly where Rocker Academy are coming from. Look, those close spawns over on the backside of lobby will essentially be there to try to put yourself in a position to try to at least win the gunfights initially. And, well, hell, it does happen for Rocker Academy, but now we have to look at the rotation. The route man's going to be Journey this time around for Rocker Academy, as Ultra Academy will win the battle for the scrap time. Beans will be here to potentially give themselves a little bit of a pushback. The moment that Journey reveals themselves with the automaton onto Harry, get immediately traded out by way of a nade. These rotational battles, by no stretch of the imagination, are favoring one team or the other going into 2.
Well, Metal's already over here to cause some problems, as was Lucky, but nicely done from Ultra Academy to win these rotational battles. Right off the rip, of course. They already have Beans in the mid-map also to cause some problems. Harry over towards this street side. Rocker Academy, they might not even get a chance to look at this hard point with the way that Ultra Academy are currently set up. Nice flank coming through from Real, though. That's going to take Harry out of that power position, potentially opening this hill up now for Rocker Academy to find their way on through. Vortex, the last remaining player to do anything about this. A couple of players do actually spawn up over towards the train as I say it, so they do have a couple more chances, but I think for Ultra Academy here, your best chance is just to move your way over towards this rotation. Don't give this rotation up. It could be a complete one.
This was always a really good hill, though, for Rocker Academy. And the reason being is I've been there so many times, dude.
Same, dude.
It honestly, it feels like that window is made out of adamantium at certain points in time, or vibranium. I don't know. Pick a strongest metal out of MCU.
Yeah,
but again, for Rocker Academy going forward, when it comes down to working their way towards this hill, look what's manifesting over on the north side of the map already. You have Lucky as well as Journey. Two different players trying to break into the backside of the spawn. And Real finds value coming through the front side of Fire. They'll be cut down. The spawn should flip, and they sure will. So Rocker Academy with the closer ones going forward, but they got to get Ultra out.
And nicely done by Rocker Academy to at the very least flip the spawns. Now it's about part number 2, getting inside the hard point and holding what would be a great remainder of this time to take away from Ultra. Can they do anything about this? Beans flies through, able to pick up one. A couple players still left up here. Lucky and Real, the former of which will fall. The latter might fall not long after. No, Real comes through, picks up 3. Will secure the 15 seconds of scrap time for Rocker Academy. For Ultra, they don't mind that so much. Yes, they've lost scrap time that could be valuable later down the line, but they have got the rotation in hand for now. And the information gained that Rocker Academy are attempting to push in from behind. Harry only able to get 1, though, and that should deal, at the very least, with that player. But now, of course, Rocker Academy, there is a chance they could spawn in the backline here continually, Andy.
They might. It all depends. Where does Journey and Real spawn up here? You would think that with Lucky anchoring things out, it would be on the backside of the warehouse, but the positioning from Beans is actually pushed up very far in the back, so that's not going to allow Rocker Academy for them to be able to get those closer spawns. They're running all the way back from P3, essentially, so they have to do this from the front. They know that all of Ultra Academy are on the backside of these train cars, which they deal with them in spades. Metals finds 3 on the back end of it. 9 and 8 for the kid now, with scrap time remaining here on 4.
Oh, that's Metals, isn't it, really? Sometimes he's able to come on through, just wades his way into the hard point, picks up 3, and Rocker Academy, at the very least, going to get a little bit of time, but it won't last all that long as Ultra Academy respond in kind. Now, battle over towards P5. This is a hard point, which very rarely does a ton of time actually go to either team. It's also normally a hotly contested hard point, but it's going to be Rocker Academy in here first. Beans able to pick up 2 of these rotational gunfights, yet still, it is Metals staying in the position up towards top third. Can Beans finish off the gunfight? No. Rocker Academy continue to exist over here.
P5 is generally where you don't find a lot of time. Historically, on Vanguard so far, it is very rare that teams can find ample time off the middle of the map. Almost feels like a tried and true P1, but got to be able to find a certain wave of kills, and Rocker Academy doing a great job of just finding trades. Look, 2 seconds here, 5 seconds here. Going to be able to at least try to whittle down this lead that Ultra Academy have been able to build for themselves off the beginnings and the tail end of that first set of hard points. And Rocker Academy, they got themselves a really good setup going in towards 5. They just have to read, again, Vortex on the flank, be able to potentially blow this play up. Metals took a few more bullets than they probably wanted to finally cut down Stevo, but that flank play was really the only one that was going to be able to exist, to be able to break inside P5. But going in towards a second, it'll just be a mere 7-second lead that Ultra have over Rocker Academy. They're in possession of P1 for the time being, Brody.
They are for now. Rocker Academy might find their way on in pretty quickly, though. Lucky's able to pick up 1, and just like that, mate, this hard point at the moment is just so back and forth between these 2 teams. Both of them masterclassers at the moment, breaking hard points, not necessarily holding them, though. Maybe Rocker Academy can finally break the curse here by holding on to the remainder of this time. It's a big 35 seconds for Stevo, trying to pick up a couple of kills and maybe some more as well. But Metals and Journey are going to combine for 3 here as Rocker Academy find their way back on into the hard point for what would be a big 20 seconds of scrap time. And even better now for Rocker Academy as well. Lucky wins a crucial one-on-one gunfight over towards the rotation, perhaps opening up a path here for the entirety of Rocker Academy to find their way in. But Beans says no, he will continue to fight for this rotation, and Ultra Academy perhaps a door in for this next hill. They need these first few gunfights because you cannot allow Rocker Academy to get some distance between themselves and Ultra.
It did take Rocker Academy a lot of time to try to break inside of P2 through the first set of hard points. But the biggest difference is that they're actually manifesting a giant pinch to come all the way through. Look at Journey's in their position. And that's going to force Ultra Academy to watch a lot of different angles. And you would almost think from the war of attrition alone that you would be able to get in towards the back. You would be able to at least coordinate a pinch, but the close spawns are in. Beans will spawn inside of that boathouse. We'll be able to give a little bit of much-needed reinforcements for Ultra Academy EU. Down to 30 seconds here on P2. Ultra Academy are walking away with the majority of the time.
This is, again, a big amount of time here in this game where both teams haven't really been all that far apart from one another pretty consistently throughout so far. Furious in the backline wants to keep Rocker Academy off the hard point, off earning some of this time. Big 2-piece, though, from Royale to get it. Now, I believe we did just see some streaks on our screen as well. I think that was Rocker Academy that did end up having them. So that is something to note moving forward here, especially as we move towards the next hard point. Those could come into play. Not for this one, but maybe for the next one after that. But it is going to be Rocker Academy here first. Can Beans do anything about this? He's only able to get one, and now Rocker Academy in for this time. Can they hold on?
Metals is piecing right now. 22 and 16 is on a force spree. Generally feels like that you could always just expect this guy to be able to find a lot of value. Well, I guess the only person that's going to be able to take down Metals is going to be a teammate. You go stun. Journey is able to rectify it minorly by taking down Furious, but the rotation is starting to come all the way through inside of 3. But again, Rocker Academy just so proactive at getting themselves favorite spawns, specifically for 3, but can't wait too long to try to work for some of these breaks. Ultra Academy doing a great job of keeping things mixy and keeping Rocker at bay before they can actually break in fully.
Beans trying to play his life towards the backline. He will only be able to pick up one before falling. Back and forth we go here as Ultra Academy take a crucial 20 seconds or so away from Rocker Academy there inside that hard point. Again, rotation is big. Royale will get shut down. Nicely done here by Stevo, who finds his way up into this room. How much more damage can he do? The streak does come down. That is a glide bomb utilized by Rocker Academy. They recognize how crucial this hard point will be. They want to take the time away. Metals, what can he do? Able to pick up one. Looking for the second now as well. It's Harry, though. It's Harry, though. Comes through to pick up 2. And Ultra Academy, they have a grip over the hard point, but not a grip over the spawns.
Yeah, the spawns are going to flip. Great call. You got to be able to at least get yourself on the very southeast corner of the map, especially or specifically where Harry is now. More or less try to break or to hold out these spawns. But Rocker Academy, they have numbers back here. Dal's going to be able to find 2. Harry needs to activate themselves. They got to be able to find a little bit more work. Journey off the respawn from the warehouse will cut them down. And as you said, with that glide on being called in, it's 2 different W's for Rocker Academy. Not only did you deny Ultra Academy from getting themselves a lot of hardpoint time, you're also denying them from so many different power positions, and the gunfights are starting to go their way. Going to be able to at least soak up maybe just a handful of more seconds before trying to take a really big focus towards the middle of the map. But again, Metals, who's been playing out of their mind this hardpoint, Brody, 24 and 21, has already slipped the net. They're in from behind.
How much damage can Metals do here, though? You have to erupt, and there's the first kill now. Just continue to be an annoyance here that Ultra Academy going to have to deal with, and unfortunately they cannot. Metals able to pick up 2, but I think crucially, Metals comes through for a 3rd as well. Surely give him number 4. Stevo going to be denying, and what I was going to say is you can see it on the minimap. The gunfight's going down over towards those mailroom steps. Ultra Academy, while yes, Metals was being annoying on the other side, they still had presence inside the hardpoint, keeping Rocker Academy out. Now Furious, what can he do close by? Unfortunately, does get taken down. Rocker Academy now maybe a chance for this 20, and it is a crucial 20 seconds.
It's a big 20, and you would almost assume that Ultra are going to completely concede the rest of this time. Don't want to be throwing away their lives at it. Siva's going to try to hit it one more time. They actually take down Lucky inside of the hard point. They're trying to set themselves up for 1. It can turn into a money hill now that we're going in towards the 3rd set. A 20-point lead, more or less, for Rocker going in towards another set of hard points, but the biggest issue is they're constantly trying to berate the pinch in the flank. They deal with it in kind this time around for Ultra as they remain intact for this P1 setup, and they are reading that Rocker are coming from the front.
Indeed they are. Metals will fall. Lucky now next up to bat. It's Rocker Academy in. They cannot finish it here regardless of what happens, but what a moment it would be to separate themselves away from Ultra Academy. And Ultra, they are thinking about this one. How much resources do they actually want to put in? How cautious do they want to be about potentially losing the rotation that would lose them the game? But while they're doing all this, Andy, they're giving up a ton of time. They've waited for Stevo to make his way onto the flank. There is Journey down. Now it's gonna be the eruption from Stevo. How many kills can he he get? Well, he only needs to get 1. Furious picks up 2. 10 seconds that will go the way of Ultra Academy, or rather more crucially, that don't go the way of Rocker Academy. And it is going to be the Spaniards in for this rotation. Andy Furious able to get 1 in on the flank, and he is now still here. Lucky, probably aware of the fact. And now, of course, Ultra Academy, they're going to be spawning here as well.
They're going to be spawning here. Yeah, absolutely. Furious being able to play off the back end of this 3 spree actually completely flipped out the map. And I don't think you're going to be aware. Real snaps and completely just slams Furious through the staircase. What was looking like a good break potential coming through Ultra Academy. Rocker shut it down in their face.
How long that flank was, how much time Ultra Academy spent doing that. Now they kind of have to just go bull rush straight into the hard point. Do they really have a choice about being tactical about it anymore? Steve-O for 1, not the second as well. Real holds on. That might well be the closer as Rocker Academy send us to a game number 5 here in the opener of Season 2.
It's almost poetic, isn't it? Almost feels like the script is being followed all the way through between these two teams. I mean, you know, We Man no longer with this team of Ultra Academy EU as they were formerly known as Moneyform. But this was also the Season 1 opener that we had here on Clutch to start things off. And it was in between what was Young Galactics, now Rocker Academy, versus Moneyform, now Ultra Academy EU. And it went the distance, all the way down to around 11. It just is poetic. It is the biggest story that you could honestly just write up between these two teams going into Season 2. Again, 2 CDL teams fielding Academy rosters is massive to really show their grit, their tenacity, and the work that they've been putting in during the offseason. I was close. Ultra Academy really had themselves a lot of opportunities for them to be able to get themselves a lot of good time, specifically when you're looking at the first and second set. They were in the lead by a solid 20-25 seconds or so, which, again, barring even how the end of that game did end for this final scoreline, was a massive lead. They were neck and neck all the way through. But the continuous assault, the relentless push that we always saw Rocker Academy being able to find, specifically over towards P3, just thwarted every single setup that Ultra were looking for inside of that fire hardpoint. And I think even more than that as well, Brody, when it came down to that P2 in the final set, Rocker Academy finally got themselves inside first and were able to read where the hit was coming through continuously. Yeah, Furious did take their sweet time to be able to make that flank play happen. They even got the close response. But the moment that Rocker Academy were able to fully read and understand where the hit was coming from, it was just a blunder. They had to contest 1 by 1, and 1 by 1 they all fell.
Just incredible. What a game here as we take a look over towards our stat lines. Great team performance once again from Rocker Academy. And this is something I think you and I have noted before when we've seen these guys play Berlin Hardpoint. Rarely ever does one player step out and absolutely carry the team. Everybody is pretty much always firing on all cylinders. And Rocker Academy have looked so good on Berlin Hardpoint. 6-0 now, mate. It's crazy, isn't it, Andy, that we continually see this from this squad. But honestly, I gotta say, for me there, it really did feel like the end of the Hardpoint was what decided it for Rocker Academy. Ultra Academy, they were kind of facing, in the office Hardpoint, they were facing a choice, right? Do we put all of our eggs into the basket of going for this time as soon as possible, or do we want to put some eggs in the basket that is the rotation towards new? They chose the latter. They gave up a significant chunk of time, and I think it became insurmountable after that. Rocker Academy take us to a game number 5. We're going to my favorite map in the game here, Tuscan. It's a bright, beautiful map. Shout out to Treyarch, or shout out to Sledgehammer for designing this map. Beautifully done. And you know what, Andy? This is probably the best map that we could actually go to here. This is going to be an SMG heaven, and for both of these two teams, that's not a bad thing.
No, it's really not. And I chuckle because it is quite funny. Now, whether this was vetoed continuously either by Rocker Academy or against them, they didn't play it at all through Season 1. At all. They never played a Tuscan Search.
I wonder why.
For as strong as their SMG lineup is, and for as proactive as their AR lineup specifically can be, with the first blood percentage that Lucky also has leading into this, you would almost expect that it would be a hard veto versus them, that you probably never want to face them here on Tuscan Search and Destroy. But Search and Destroy as a whole, I guess, historically through Season 1, is their weaker of the 3 game modes. So definitely want to be able to find your value with this going forward. And I think that Tuscan Search and Destroy, when you're thinking about it from the opposite standpoint, especially for Moneyform, which is how coordinated they looked, especially coming from a Desert Siege Search and Destroy, they were methodical, surgical. They looked great on making sure that all of their executes and everything that they were doing in between at an all-time high, being able to find themselves a lot of value and shutting down the aggression for Rocker Academy, again, is their bread and butter to try to forcibly find these first bloods, forcibly work away with these numbers advantages. Ultra Academy EU were just denying them on all different fronts. It's hard to gauge where this team now of Ultra EU would actually end up standing, given how you end up having Furious now stepping in for what was Wee Man. They finally got themselves that second SMG, and we've got to see throughout this, at least the formats that we've had so far, Brody, what Furious is able to do. They are that much more enabled, and on Search and Destroy, specifically on Tuscan, you go back and you watch what they were able to do when they were playing with the originals. I have nightmares about what Furious is able to do. What the value, the timings, and everything else in between. Furious is going to be that guy that Rocker Academy have to be worried about going in towards this 5th and final map.
Yeah, it's always frustrating, right, when you've got this player that can continue to flank you, you know, to get those first blood engagements, which Furious was ever so good at for the originals, right, and was a massive proponent as to why the originals, their strongest game mode was Search and Destroy at the end of the day, right? I think on the flip side of that discussion, it would be very interesting to see how the originals actually do this season without Furious in Search and Destroy. I'm sure they'll be okay, but those first blood engagements that Furious got were just so key every single Search and Destroy of which they played. Nonetheless, though, you're absolutely right to point that one out, but on the other hand, this conversation, we've got a Rocker Academy team that are immaculate with their Search and Destroys. Maybe not so much on this map, as you said, we haven't seen them outside of Challengers Cups on this map, which is kind of funny in a way that maybe teams just really don't want to play them on Tuscan. I can imagine why, considering the amount that we've seen them on Control on Tuscan play very well. But it is going to be interesting for sure to see how these two teams do end up facing off against one another. Rocker Academy, they are a hyper-aggressive team. You see Real coming at you, you see Journey coming at you, you are shaking in your boots. And there is good reason for that, because those two players have been highlight players so far this season. But what an awesome opening, right, Andy, to Challengers Season 2. Season 1, you and I enjoyed it so much. Season 2, I mean, just looking at the way that we're opened up here, things have been looking so great.
And obviously, this isn't the only match that's happening right now. And you have the wonderful Spaceman and Dream Crazy Ellen. They're actually taking you through Sukri's Bakery versus Revenge Tour up on the mainstream right now. That's set it up to be a barn burner. I think that they're just concluding their map number 4 right now. You also have Vengeance versus GWR Signs. I believe that just ended in Vengeance's favor, winning 3-1. And then you also have Doge versus Originals, which is going to actually be over. Yeah, in 3 maps, the Originals are going to be able to close that one out. So, yeah, definitely very interesting for how all of Season 2 has kicked off so far for us, Brody. But, I mean, this has to be the biggest periscope of them all. All eyes on what the CDL Academy teams are going to be able to be brought to the table. That Rocker Academy, we're definitely going to be the team to watch out for, obviously, as they are the Season 1 champions here in European Challengers Elite. But with Ultra Academy EU picking up Furious, look, they look very good. They look composed. Synergy is absolutely there. It looks like this team's been playing all year long, and it'll surely be showcased that much more, depending on how this Tuscan Search and Destroy unfolds.
At number 5, would you believe it, for the first series of Season 2 here with ClutchGG. It's pretty good to see both of these teams going at it. It's pretty good, I think, in my opinion, at the very least, to see Ultra Academy EU. They seem a lot stronger with Furious in the lineup, and it's not really a surprise, is it, just given how good he was in Season number 1. But into map number 5 we go. And for Ultra Academy, off the rip, it doesn't look like that straight rush towards A that you so often see. Playing this one a little bit more passively, perhaps thinking that Rocker Academy might get hyper-aggressive. And I'll tell you what, mate, I think they're right.
Yeah. Well, what would you ever expect? There's a whole lot of aggression, especially from the 8 players inside this lobby. Now in a 2v4. Journey needs to go big, but they can't keep their life after taking down Vortex. Now it's Real, all left alive. Wallbang shots tracking through the wall will be good. And you know, that is just the 2 different takes. I guess you really only have like 3 different instances when it comes down to opening breaks, especially in the very first round, right, Brody? It's either that very quick plan at A, you exhaust a lot of your nade trying to deny that plan to come all the way through. Middle map coverage, you get players to try to work their way inside a church, but working off of the timings again, Ultra Academy EU able to find themselves those very quick 2 kills and isolated the last few off of where Rocker Academy were located at, get themselves that 1-round lead. Beans finds 2 in that round.
See a response from Rocker Academy early on here. Ultra looked pretty good over in game number 2 for the aggression of which they're able to pull off. And once again, it's first blood going the way of Steve-O here. Journey will end up falling. Now that bomb also going to be down. Can he get away with his life? Yes, he can. This is a perfect position for Ultra Academy to find themselves in, although it doesn't last that long. Lucky takes him down. Metals of a nice set nave onto Steve-O as well. 3 for 2. We go.
Even Stevens, 2v2. You're just going to try to clear out all the way in the back. This is a battle on 2 different fronts. You can see now with Beans, it's completely on the opposite side of this. Real with the bomb needs to stay alive. They'll eat a couple shots, get away with their life. 6 HP, but time is of the essence. 30 seconds to try to make a play happen towards one of these sites.
Real could get this bomb over towards B. Right now, completely scot-free, and even better, he does exactly that here as Furious does end up falling. Now Beans 1 versus 2. It's going to come from the fountain side. Going to attempt this jump up, does get it. But look at the call from Lucky. He was pre-aiming maps. Is he this time? Oh, checks the corner, does Beans. The wrong corner to check, of course, is out onto the patio is Lucky, and Rocker Academy, what a turnaround in the round.
They have the immediate information on the first, and then when Lucky was just clearing everything out over towards patio, was able to completely collapse onto that player inside of church. But even more so than that, you're starting to see how the tandem offense can actually work for Rocker Academy, depending on what obviously whatever 2 players would be alive for Rocker Academy going forward. They're able to work so well off of one another, all of the information, and most importantly, Real just staying alive with the bomb at the backside of grass. Would have been a big kill if Ultra Academy were able to find themselves. Back-to-back rounds we go. All offense. Steve was going to stun check inside of church. We'll just deny anybody from Rocker Academy trying to work their way inside. Actually eats a nade. Is alive. Didn't get hit with the full force of it, but Harry finding first blood with the bomb being planted. Not good for Rocker off the start.
And they get away as well. This is going to be a tough one to break, I think, for Rocker Academy overall. Real will pick up the first blood, so that is good news. Now perhaps some control over the site, but you know if you're Rocker Academy here that somebody's going to be sitting in the back line. It's Beans with the Kar 98K. Can he take out these players before he falls? Beans is just going to play this one passively. No reason to get over aggressive. The snipe does miss onto Real. Tries to go for the quick scope for the second. You're not going to make yourselves into phase number 1 this year, are you? Lucky, though, on the defuse. Can you put it on? Larry! Larry, no! He allows the defuse to come through! No!
Ain't
No
that
way!
just the devil of the automaton, huh? I mean, look, you got only so many bullets, and it's a bullet hose. The moment that first kill did end up coming through on the top side of the windowsill, Harry thought that he had enough bullets, the centering to be able to at least get the headshot multiplier to get the kill, and maybe about 3 or 4 bullets. Did not expect the necessity. Swap to the pistol as quick as they were needed to. And that's just a great read overall from Rocker Academy, right? I mean, look, you knew that there was one player all the way in the back. Harry finds that first kill. Lucky just hops it. Harry's still on 4 in a row, though, as Rocker Academy will load into their next offense. Going to go for this quick plant. A great little bounce of things. Steve did find first blood, but quickly getting answered back with Ultra Academy in numbers.
Journey going to cook this nade up, trying to take the player out over towards Broken. Now perhaps a flank coming in here from Ultra Academy. Furious will not find anything just yet. I like the proactiveness from Rocker Academy to get this bomb down, and they get away. But Furious has the information there in this position that Journey might have ran off to that side of Ruins. I think that's why Harry is playing up here in this position inside Broken, knows that somebody might get over aggressive. Has he predicted correctly? He has, but not exactly in the manner I think that he expected. Lucky will take down Harry. Now for Rocker Academy, the numbers start to shift in your favor. It's just a 1v1 now. Furious versus Lucky. 2 standout players from Season 1 on opposite sides of the field. 15 seconds left on the clock here for this defuse to come on through. For Ultra Academy, Furious cannot locate Lucky, and of course, as Lucky's already had eyes on the bomb, checks it again for good measure. This is a round for Rocker Academy, a 2 versus 3 at that.
Yeah, just great. It's a great job of not only just being able to preserve their life, but playing off the information. Again, once that kill does come through over by Pillar, Lucky just completely clears it out, and instead of trying to chase it, just check the bomb right around 8, 9, even 10 seconds just to confirm, hey, nobody's on the defuse, he's not over here clearing. Because Lucky found that last kill. The last known information on where Lucky was at was, top bunks. He immediately comes back down on the backside of church to try to work at least off of a trade from their fallen comrade. Rocker Academy are playing chess with these rounds right now, and they are doing a great job of that. They shut down Harry from that force spree as well. 6 and 2 is still an impressive stat line, but going forward, Ultra Academy have been denied again to try to work this quick plan just off of the stuns alone. Steve-O's going to be counting some of these nades. Finally feel comfort to try to do this. Knows that there's a player top nest as well. Gets out with their life to boot.
And Harry draws that first blood as well, so for Rocker Academy, this is going to be a tough retake to make happen, but they did 2 versus 3 in the last round. Hey, maybe on the defense they can get this one done, but again, it's that prior round before, which they ended up losing, where Ultra Academy kind of slot themselves all the way in the back line. And it's Beans once again. His sniper does not miss. Harry up top, inside fire. Nicely done. And the nade to close things out as well. Surgical precision coming in from Ultra Academy here as they find themselves another round on the board. Look at that from Steve-O. He's been playing some squash in his spare time. Did you imagine?
I just believe you. I don't know. You said that.
Yeah?
You said that so confidently.
I actually don't know, to be
you
fair.
and Harry just like meet up and you guys just play some squash. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I'd like
wouldn't
it.
put
Harry,
past
if
you.
you're listening, mate, we could play some squash. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd win at squash, to be honest. I've not got the reflexes for it.
Probably not. But I think what you're recognizing is that the reflexes of Ultra Academy just being able to adapt to what Rocker Academy bring to the table. Reading how many stuns, reading how many nades, counteracting off of it. We got ourselves a little bit of an aggressive take coming in towards this one. Steve-O actually puts himself inside of you, but all just a little bit of a bait play, isn't it? Because Harry does find that first blood. Now Steve-O will activate themselves. Metals can't beat him down quick enough. Only numbers advantage for the defensive team of Ultra.
And Real's pushed himself all the way back. Yeah, towards tank side, towards columns. I think the Ultra Academy, they know he's around here somewhere. It's just, where is Real situated? I don't think Steve-O's just seen him, so Real could still cause some problems here for Ultra Academy on the defense. There you go. Furious going to take down Lucky, and there it is, Real as well. Furious going to close things out. Rocker Academy try to fly through maps, but they get lost on the way. And, well, Ultra Academy here. Going to be another round in a row.
Yeah, 2 different aggressive positionings, right? I mean, you had Steve-O immediately getting themselves inside of you to try to deny a quick plant that was coming all the way out, but Harry taking a very normal line of sight, albeit aggressive, especially through the middle rounds. You're almost playing like a 50-50 chance that you're going to be able to at least win that gunfight up top, and they were able to do so. From that numbers advantage, basically put Rocker in a very unadvantageous position. They knew that Real was back there somewhere, as you were saying, and well, it worked out last time. Lucky with the bomb could not get themselves through the communications room. Also, an even game going in towards round number 7. Another quick plan coming through from Ultra EU. One can necessarily be surprised. Metals does find info, and Real's going to clean up Steve-O with that grenade. The bomb does not get planted, by the way, as Rocker have a 1-number lead.
I do have something here, Ultra Academy. Furious is over towards Church. He could be a problem that Rocker Academy might have to deal with, especially as now Beans takes down Lucky. There is a trade coming through from Metals, and now for the bomb carrier in Furious, you have to find something here, and you do. 2v1 we go. Journey left last alive. What can he do in this position? He can pick up the first kill now, 1v1. The bomb going straight down from Furious. I really like the proactiveness to make sure you get this down. It puts you at the advantage.
A really smart call. Question is, gonna read that where Journey's coming from. So many different angles to cover. Almost gets the snap out of you. Almost had the read completely right. Furious is going to be coming from, but now with 3 rounds in a row, team of Ultra Academy EU, I'm telling you, Brody, they are just doing such a great job at just reading and exploiting a lot of the openings what Rocker Academy are throwing at them. And albeit, though, Steve-O does not get that bomb down as quick as you would hope, just from different nade and stun locations coming out from Rocker Academy, they completely collapse all the information that has been found. 10 and 4 for Harry. Reese is on 5 in a row through these rounds. A couple stun checks. This looks rehearsed. Trying to find any sort of information on the other side of Zig. And they will. Harry will be taken down.
We watching LAT or Ultra Academy right now. The set nades, both of these rosters, to be fair, has been pretty good. Now look at this. In from behind. Ultra Academy. All this one, the crab. Hints of movement. Might well work out. Unfortunately, Beans with the quick scope will not. And now, of course, this will rely on some great plays from Steve-O. He finds one. He sees the second as well. Journey has been spotted. Can he get the kill? No, he cannot. Nicely done from Journey. So 2v2 we go. Rocker Academy, they're momentarily split up, but they are back together. Ultra, they are split up. And for that reason, Beans will fall. There is no trade. But look at Harry in from behind. Can he catch any of these players before they get away? There's the first. He did not see where Lucky went.
No, he didn't. So now Lucky, trying to go for the wall jump, misses it. staircase instead. Like one of those options. Like you either take the elevator or you take the stairs.
Just take the stairs, mate.
Yeah, just take the stairs. Gonna put themselves top fire. And there's no way that Harry has completely read this. Again, it's all off the information. Did read at least the first coming out from you, but not seeing Lucky. No teammates that was watching the death cam saw him either. Lucky is able to get themselves in that clutch spot where the bomb was essentially planted for. Was able to shut things down, and albeit was necessary when you're thinking about it. I mean, Ultra Academy were really starting to play with some heat there off of 3 rounds in a row. Most importantly, again, they shut down Furious before they were able to get anything rolling too deep to get themselves that glide bomb. Harry's still having themselves a whale of a game, 12-5, round number 9. The Ultra Academy, again, on offense, trying to work for this A bomb plant.
Steve with a set nade once again, trying to make sure that Lucky was inside broken, but unfortunately the nade this time will fly past him into the void. And that means that getting this bomb down is now going to be significantly harder. Now maybe significantly easier, especially as both of those kills now come through. Journey, can he do anything here? He's found his way over towards maps. Furious, they're ready to deal with this one. And this one as sneaky as you like, but Journey gets the kill anyway.
30 seconds. There's a lot of time left to be played. Big kill from Beans on the backside of grass. Force out a 1v2 for Journey. What can he do? That silences pop, but the door is going to be creeped open. The angle is going to be looked at. Ultra Academy EU. These A pushes, again, it's nothing too crazy. They're doing the smallest adaptations to be able to read some of these positions. In the Hail Mary read, that Rocker Academy, we're going to send more players over towards maps this time around, Brody. Gets read completely. Harry shuts it down. And then once that bomb gets planted, Rocker Academy were just too split across the map. Could not coordinate a pinch going through. Now up on series point, our Ultra Academy EU. It's starting to look like it's season 1 all over again.
Tell you what, their search and destroy has vastly improved since season 1. The one S&D that they did end up winning was versus Rocker Academy. It was a game 5. They've already won 1 in the series. So, hey, look, they've matched their season 1 record. Can they best it? Journey sitting in the mid-map. Could well cause some problems here for Ultra Academy on the defense. But just look how scared Rocker Academy are at the moment. And I don't blame them at all. But they might have a secret weapon. That secret weapon, Real, able to pick up the first kill, does not get greedy for the second.
Oh, the timing of the door!
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
But the collapse is there. SMG Duo is going to be able to come back in kind, 2v2. The bomb's planted at A, so now if you're Rocker Academy, you just post up. You just basically force the advantage, but Harry's on the flank. He can make the play.
Will make the play indeed. Beans over towards Churchside as well. Harry, how many kills can he get? I thought for a second that Harry was going to survive for a lot longer, but still 20 seconds left on the clock. Beans has the position. Just going to try and outplay him here directly in the 1 versus 1, but Lucky, he is better. I'll be honest, I think that position was just a lot better there than Beans had, and round 11 we go, mate. I swear, the amount of times that you and I have experienced deja vu this season, it's crazy.
Brody, starting to look like season 1 all over again between these two teams. It ended on that Berlin search and destroy and a heater of around 11. Honestly speaking, that was well played from Rocker Academy. Able to at least help out Real as they had information that there was more than 2 there, but did not know that there was that third player that was coming down in the bottom side of maps. Journey was right there, at least able to go 1 for 1, kept the numbers intact. Bomb being planted specifically as a win condition at the end of the day. More rehearsed nades coming through. Lucky for first blood on the Beans.
And that's a big one as well. Beans had that sniper rifle over towards A. Will not find anything. So the first blood does go Rocker Academy's way. Now, can they get the bomb down? Elsewhere, Furious has stopped Real from getting control of maps. Harry's still in his power position up top in sandbags as well. The bomb does go down. Journey, I think, will be aware that somebody might well be up there. As soon as Harry jumps out this window, Journey's going to have him for breakfast. Or maybe no! Journey takes him down. 3v2 now. 3v1 now. Steve-O, 1 versus 3 clutch on the cards. The mastermind is search and destroy in Black Ops Cold War in Modern Warfare. Can he pull this off? Absolutely friggin' not, says the Spaniards. As Rocker Academy, round 11, they're gonna take this one, and the first battle between these two teams in Season 2 will go Rocker Academy's way.
Oh, man. That got probably a lot closer than Rocker Academy had wanted, especially when they had themselves that big old lead. 15-8 for Harry was having themselves a hell of a search and destroy, and they looked very confident in a lot of the different angles, and a lot of these early set plays that we were seeing out from Ultra Academy were obviously rehearsed. And it's very hard to be able to come that cohesive when it comes down to search and destroy, especially at this level of Call of Duty. You don't exactly get the best search and destroy scrims, if any at all. Now, most of your practice either comes through from wagers, small S&D tournaments, or in cups, which in between from 6 until now, this team didn't exactly have all of the practice in the world to be able to exemplify some of the big plays that we were seeing from them, Brody. It was nice. Again, same thing that I was talking about from Desert Siege. What Ultra Academy EU were doing such a good job was adapting early on to a lot of the aggression and a lot of the, I guess, linear setups that Rocker Academy were trying to throw at them. And those rehearsed nades were obviously keeping them honest with a lot of their opening rips. But then when it comes down to a Rocker Academy, their trust, their cohesion, that is why they are Season 1 champions. That final round, you really thought that Ultra Academy were going to be able to isolate Real, make that a 1-for-1 trade. But then Journey just completely gives up one of the better positions that we know of is on top Church, just to make sure that Real does stay alive, at least being able to catch one more player from behind, making sure that it was Real that goes 1-for-1. Even when he gets back over towards the middle of the map, denies so much more space continuously for Ultra Academy, who had to force out the play going forward. And from there on out, it was just communication and isolation. Rocker Academy, again, just, it's so hard to deny the strength that this team does bring to the table. But again, we got to say it, this Ultra Academy EU roster, their Search and Destroy definitely looks a whole hell of a lot better than where it did at the end of Season 1.
Would you believe that Lucky topped Rocker Academy there in the game, 13-6? Well, it's just not a surprise at this point, is it? Lucky's S&D is phenomenal. We saw that in Season 1, and it looks like Season 2 is going to be no different. He finishes with 13 kills at the end of that game, 1.4k damage to boot as well. Beautifully done. 10 of those kills, by the way, were non-traded, Andy. Just brilliant. And on the other side of things, you gotta feel bad for Harry, right? He finishes with 15 frags to his name.
And again, it was just, I gotta respect these angles that Harry was taking versus a lot of other players, because more often than not, on the other side of that, it was Metals, again, who 2-11, say what you will, but was able to find ample information for a lot of these other players to be able to collapse on top of. Harry was doing a great job of making sure that Real wasn't getting too aggressive, wasn't getting too much map control for themselves. But when you think about it, Lucky being the last alive through a lot of these rounds is a lot of the reason why we've always been seeing Rocker Academy, specifically through Season 1, find continuous value in their search and destroys to always put themselves in a position to be able to close out these map 5s, close out those map 2s, give themselves the advantage going forward. But look, when we take a look at this map set, this is exactly what we were setting up. Rocker Academy know exactly what we're saying. Gavutsu Control, it's not their greatest one. We know that Tuscan is definitely the one that they're going to be looking forward to, but they're going to be trying to take some practice going forward on a lot of the maps. They're probably not going to be trying to make things too easy for them going forward, but if they can get like the best practice going forward for a lot of these matchups when playoffs do come around, if they are a top 4 team, then at least they're going to be able to get the best practice going forward about it all. That Desert Siege and Gavutsu Control, really got to tip it to Ultra Academy EU. They looked great, but it's always going to be the hard points. You can try to trump this Rocker Academy roster on a respawn game mode, specifically on hardpoint. You might be able to put yourself in a position to maybe take a series off of them.
Yeah, and you talk about, right, you know, the lessons learned here for Rocker off the back of maps number 2 and 3. I think you can very much say the same thing in maps number 4 for Berlin Hardpoint. You got to remember that it was literally only the last hardpoint where really Toronto Ultra Academy EU did end up taking the L. Like, again, they gave away what was 30 seconds, which frankly I think they probably could have done without doing that, but you know, it happens at the end of the day. I think the lessons learned for both of these two teams at the back of this series will be plentiful. They'll walk away knowing where maybe they need to improve. Hey, maybe even if it's not necessarily about improving in the theory, about the execution, they can take those lessons and apply them to their next matchup. And let me tell you, Andy, there are a ton of matches still to come in Season 2. That was just our first wave of matches. We're basically done. I think Sukri's Bakery and Revenge Tour just finished, with Revenge Tour taking that one 3-2, which sets up a very interesting proposition for our next series of the day, because if you're a fan of Rocker and if you're a Spanish fan in the chat, well, don't you worry, because we're staying on board with the team. They're going to be taking on Revenge Tour next to Pandy. That's going to be a great match.
That's going to be a fantastic match. If you go back to Season 1 Grand Finals, it took us 2 best-of-5s between what was Revenge Tour when they were playing with Denza. Now they are playing with Jackster, and it's just going to continuously make a lot of interesting narratives going forward. This Rocker Academy is one of very few teams that did end up sticking together, specifically when it comes down to as a full four here in European Challengers Elite. They are the top dogs currently. They are the champions of the North through the first battle here in Europe across the pond. And I gotta say, man, this team right now of Revenge Tour, from the little glimpses that I saw, specifically on that Bokosh hardpoint that they beat Sukari's Bakery on 250 to 145, does speak volumes for the SMG presence that team is bringing to the table right now.
Yeah, well, they just added Chaxter to the team, right? And that was the big question we had about Revenge Tour is, how are they going to do without their secret weapon in Denza, right? I mean, he was the reason this roster was called Revenge Tour in the first place. Now the name has an entirely new meaning. They're going to be taking on Rocker Academy next. That's going to be here with Clutch in just a second. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back with some more Call of Duty after this. Welcome back, everybody, here to Call of Duty Challengers Elite coverage brought to you by Clutch. We're about ready to get into our second round of matches. We're jumping into a match that will not be our main focus, but I'm sure everybody in the chat will enjoy it anyway. It's Sukri's Bakery going head-to-head with the Originals. Two very interesting stories here, Andy. I think we should start with Sukri's Bakery, right? Because they have just come off a, I would say, surprising loss versus Revenge Tour.
Yeah, definitely a surprising one, to say the least. You know, the Tuscan Hardpoint, they ended up winning 250 to 133 versus Revenge Tour, but they could not win the Tuscan Control, or they could not win the Tuscan Search, excuse me. They did win the Tuscan Control, but on the back two, Bokosh, Hardpoint, and Search and Destroy, that all went towards Revenge Tour. So definitely looking for a bounce back. Sukri's Bakery was the top 4 team in Season 1. You look on the other side, so were the Originals. I guess the core 3 of them, if you will. Instead of Furious, as we saw, are playing with Ultra Academy, is now playing with Hockey, playing a player you don't want to be batting an eyelash at. But as we go over towards P2, Sukri's Bakery are finessing with the better spawns, more or less, just waiting for that numbers advantage, which they now have against themselves at the time.
That's a big kill from Dial, though, to come on through and make sure you get these back spawns now if you're the Originals. But, of course, you do want to be careful. You don't want to flip them entirely because you might find yourselves in a sticky spot for the next hard point. But a nice bit of kills coming through with the Originals anyway. Big, valuable set of time here. 20 seconds that the Originals will want to keep control of. Niall now on a 3, looking for a number 4, will be denied as the Originals will find their way on through for that scrap time. But as we said, this was the risk they were taking and making that route happen with about 35 seconds left on the timer. They will give up the rotation away to Sukri's Bakery.
Putting a lot of faith in your break potential going in towards 3. This is one of the hardest hills to try to break in Vanguard currently, but if you can get control very quickly over by vines, over by rooftops, you might just be able to get yourself a pretty good look at doing so. But Sukri is zoning things out over on their side of you. One more player is going to be coming over here, and Yako's just going to be sitting there kicking their feet up. There's no pinch potential that's coming all the way through, especially because now got cut down inside of fire.
Sukri's Bakery doing a really good job at the moment of warding these players off, making sure they don't get anywhere near the hard point. And I think the Originals at the moment thinking, hey, maybe one more hit at this. If we lose a couple of players, just make sure we don't allow Sukri's Bakery out at the very least, so they cannot win that next rotation. But what a hold it has been so far for Sukri's Bakery. Can they continue to do so for the last 20 seconds or so? Hawkeye peeks his way out of vines, and, well, he gets tangled up in Sukri's Bakery here as he takes a couple of players down, but it is not enough to remove Sukri's Bakery from this position. At the end of the day, Andy, I felt like this is just kind of a pressure play, that last little dip inside the hard point to make sure Sukri's Bakery do not find an easy way out towards Church.
Yeah, try to keep them honest, but the issue going forward is that they did end up finding themselves a little bit of an exit, a little bit of an avenue going down on the bottom side of the map will be over by maps. Now I was able to at least find one, so they'll be able to at least communicate that the push is coming through. But over by the ruin side, Sukri's Bakery is still continuing on the push. You have Sukri that is on 5 in a row. They're inside Church initially. Hockey's going to try to at least break on in from the ramp door. Did the first job at shutting down Sukri for the Bakery, and the recontest coming back for the 30 seconds that remains here on 4 will be successful for the time being.
Nicely done by Hawkeye to pick up a third kill in a row here. Originals feeling like this edition might be pretty good so far. I think Hawkeye now on a 4 spree. Super, the player you want to take down on the rotation. Raffi going to do exactly that. So for the Originals, a surgical rotation, perhaps still needing fighting for. Yako, the last player from Sukri's Bakery, will go for it, and Hawkeye gets a little bit too aggressive. Yako going to take that one in his stride, but he is far from done on this defense of the new rotation, and I think now he is done as Raffi comes through, picks up that first blood. The Originals going to be in here first for the time, and the Sukri's Bakery spawn up towards column side. The Originals are doing a stellar job at the moment as a team of holding on to this time.
Yeah, the thing you have to remember, especially about this Originals roster when they were playing with Furious, is that a lot of the plays, a lot of their value, although being 6 and 10 at the end of Season 1, Brody, a lot of their value in their hardpoint victories and specifically in their breaks, their holds, is all at the back of Furious. So Hockey has big shoes to fill. We saw what Raffi and Niall look like at the end of Season 1 as a whole, and they stepped up in a big way. But now you have a really big test early on versus Sukri's Bakery, who we know historically have one of the, if not the best statistical player on their team of supers, 11-11 right now, but this team's cohesion definitely at an all-time high. They were able to battle all the way out to P5, able to read hits continuously. Battling for the scrap time is no easy feat over by P5 with a rotation from 5 to 1. A little bit more of a difficult one going forward. It will be the Originals finding themselves those kills going in towards the second set.
Raffi just going to keep an eye on you. Suspects that's where Sukri's Bakery are going to try and enter into the hard point from. He would actually be correct here if Yakko starts to get a little bit itchy. Rafi keeping this one close to his chest. Unfortunately, he gets an aid right to the chest instead. Sukri going to take him down. Now Super in for the time as well. Nicely done from Sukri's Bakery to find their way into 30 seconds that they will absolutely want. It would give them a solid lead here in this game. Their problem at the moment now, and is the fact that they do not have control of the rotation towards Nu. The Originals doing a really good job at controlling that side of the map. They know they're going to spawn over there, even if they push on through to this scrap time, and that's why they're doing it. Grad still wants a piece of this pie. He will get taken down at the very least. Make sure that Sukri lose a bite or two off the back of that hop.
Find themselves a little bit of an opportunity. You remember when we first hopped into this match, it was actually the break, the rotation that was coming through for Sukri's Baker. They were able to at least hold numbers in towards the back. They just need an inch, Brody. Able to find these kills and work their way in, and Eric is able to find two. That's actually over on top of Patio, and well, just like that, they got themselves in. They're completely clearing out the back. They got two more players. If they're counting names, they know that Niall and Hockey have not been seen in quite some time. Hockey's actually able to find one with the nade, so that's actually going to benefit the Originals going forward because they were able to maintain positions on the backside of Church for the time being, and they deal with Sukri's Bakery, who they probably assumed, much like myself, that they were going to be able to get inside of that hard point. They get denied. 25 seconds remaining. The Originals could use the time.
Alright, well, this next hard point is going to be where Sukri's Bakery are going to get a lot of time, right? This is what happened last time on the rotation, if you remember, Andy. You know, they got a full 60 off the back of this. This is where they came back into the game. I think this is what the Originals were being cautious of. Nicely done by Yakko to pick up one. Nicely done by Yakko to pick up two over towards rooftops. And now Grad, I mean, he's been spotted out here by Yakko. Yakko's just going to run away.
He's just going to try to finesse his life for a little while longer. Wait for the regen, then recontest over the other side of the rooftop. I was going to be able to at least find that trade. Big start difference for Sukri's Bakery coming in towards P3 here, Brody, is that every single time the Originals are trying to hit them, it was all from Vines. It was all from Zig. This time it's coming from the rooftops, and Sukri's Bakery are able to read that, but they can't stay alive. It's not Super trying to find the refuge inside of fire. Uri Matanis is breaking up the spawns here on P3, and the Originals gave themselves a pretty darn good look at it. As Rafi and Hockey are trying to hit it one last time for 15 seconds. Most of Sukri's Bakery have completely given up the space to try to work their way towards the middle of the map. They try to find more pressure going forward. They have that leader's advantage, so they can afford to do so.
Yeah, again, it's that hard point. I think when we end this game, this is what we're going to be talking about at the end of the day. That fountain hard point. Sukri's Bakery just looks so strong at it time and time again. On the bright side, the Originals haven't given up the rotation this time around. If you remember kind of last time, Sukri's Bakery kind of managed to find their way through the mid-map. That hasn't happened here once again. The Originals doing a much better job at zoning off the correct areas of the map. Can Sukri's Bakery break on through? They've got a large margin for error. Grad gonna exploit that, picking up two kills at the front of Church. Eric Boom now, what can he do from up top? Just gonna get one back away for now. Just gonna waste some time so that Yakko and Sukri can come on through the flank. But all this time at the moment going the way of the Originals, doing a really good job at holding onto it. Niall now trying to hold. He will end up falling the kills. Ultimately go in favor of the Originals. Just Rafi left up. Can he hold onto the time? No, he cannot. And he can't even give this 15 seconds. This is a lot of time for Sukri's Bakery to get.
It's going to put them within 1 second to be able to close things out. So you know that Niall has to at least contest it, if not try to make a play going back all the way through. He's got to be able to find continuous kills going forward, and they're not going to be able to work their way back in. 247 v 189. The Originals in for the initial time so far. Sukri do not much of anything at all, but one break is all that is required for Sukri's Bakery to close out map number 1.
Indeed it is. One break is all it takes. And I almost broke in a song and verse there, but I didn't do it. Okay, guys, don't worry about it. Yeah, it was close. It was close. Anyway, regardless, the Originals, they do need to hold on. Ultimately, Sukri's Bakery, they break on in. They win this game. There it is. Yakko and Super combined for 3. Grad goes as well. The Originals sent over towards the void at the end of map number 1 as Sukri's Bakery do come out on top. And it was a close hard point. The Originals, they did look good, but Sukri's Bakery, they looked in.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting too, even when we hopped into it, like the Originals were keeping it close, if not have themselves very small lead going forward, but what you're going to quickly recognize if you're new to watching European Challengers and you're unfamiliar with the Sukri's Bakery roster is that they are the former Mavericks roster from Cold War just last year. So Yako ended up actually getting poached, funny enough, to then play with Team War, who is now Rocker Academy playing with Real. But it's interesting because this team does have a certain benefit from the chemistry alone. Lots of time spent together with one another. And when you're looking at their setups, you're looking at their breaks that they're able to find, Brody. It's something that you can absolutely write a book about, especially on a map like Tuscan that can absolutely benefit a very fundamentally strong team like Sukari's Bakery. And you got to see exactly why. Just how well they were finessing through the middle of the map, making sure that they were able to find value, even if the 2 kills did come through on the opposite side of the map, much like when we were breaking inside of 4 and 2 at times. When Eric Boom finds that 2-piece over by Patio, the other 2 players just immediately rush through the gut, knowing that the players that were in the back are going to have to take an immediate focus over towards that P2 hardpoint, and caught them in the back, being able to find themselves that very nice break. But yeah, we got to talk about that P3 hardpoint, don't we, Brody? Because you almost feel that it was probably about 111 points that Sukari's Baby were able to get off of those 2 P3s that we did see.
Yeah, it is weird in a way, isn't it? Looking over towards those P3 hardpoints that Sukari's Bakery were able to hold on as long as they were. And I think that will come back to haunt the Originals there at the end of map number 1, if only because of the fact you look at the final scoreline, you know, they only lost by, what was it, 38 points if my math doesn't fail me. So, look, you know what? It was a pretty impressive showing from the Originals, but they do end up losing on those P3 holds. Beautifully done by Sukari's Bakery. But here is a look over towards our series scoreline. This is not, though, as you would note, for Sukari's Bakery and the Originals. This is for our actual matchup that we will be following. Revenge Tour going head-to-head with another Spanish team in Rocker Academy. I mean, taking a look at this map set, quite interesting, isn't it, now looking at this new Revenge Tour roster?
It really is, right? I mean, when we talk about the new Revenge Tour roster, what do we mean by that? Again, this is your second-place team. Technically, the core 3 of this team of Keza, Watson, and Mythics. We're playing with Denza just in Season 1. Denza went to go create a new team with Wee Man, Wardy, and Maple. They are playing underneath the team name of Vengeance. Ended up being GWR Signs in their very first match. But, I mean, this Revenge Tour roster, again, still being the core 3, that line might end up standing for itself. Now, it's very tough to be able to compare what Denza and Chaxter were able to find off of Season 1 alone. I'd probably more boat the argument that maybe Chaxter wasn't enabled as much as what Denza was able to do, and that was able to fulfill that role to such a high degree. But as it stands, it is a very interesting map set, Brody, because obviously these 2 teams are well acquainted with one another. You're looking at 2 different sides. They played a lot of best of 5s all throughout Season 1. The Gavutu hardpoint technically still in the favor for Rocker Academy 2-1. The Tuscan Search and Destroy on the other side has actually only been played 1 time between these 2 teams, of which Revenge Tour was able to close it out, I believe, in round 11 victory. But that Tuscan Control is definitely going to be the interesting one going forward. I think that when you're looking at Rocker Academy, you're going to be feeling very, very happy with themselves that they will be going to that Tuscan Control. Know that Gavutu is not their favorite, and let's be candid here. It took them 2 best of 5s in playoffs of Season 1 to finally recognize maybe we should go to Tuscan if we want to close it out here. And they did, and they ended up winning it in 4.
I think it's very interesting, actually, because the control was a big talking point in the grand finals, right? You and I were talking about it, and, you know, originally, Rocker Academy, because back then they were the team that got to decide, they were forcing Gavutu control. And you and I were kind of like, why? Why are you doing this? They were very good at Gavutu control at Revenge Tour, and they did end up beating them. I think it was 3-0 and then 3-2 the second time around, right? Yeah. So I think this is interesting because we're seeing Tuscan control, but actually it wasn't Rocker Academy that got to pick it. It was Revenge Tour. I think it's down to the fact it comes down to a coin flip, who gets to pick what now or whatever. So actually, interesting pick from Revenge Tour that they decided, look, we're not going to go over towards Gavutu. We're going to stick on to Tuscan Control. They want to play Rocker Academy in their own front yard. And that is a very interesting pick. Do you think that maybe has something to do with the fact now they've brought Chaxter onto the roster? And Chaxter, I mean, he can be a highly aggressive SMG player when he wants to be.
I mean, even if it does, I don't think that it necessarily matters for me, Brody, going forward. It is the simple fact alone is that we're going to have to see what is going to be the immediate question or what this Revenge Tour roster is going to look like chemistry-wise. And we'll get that immediate answer, especially on a Gavutu hardpoint. But I think the Tuscan Control, obviously, Revenge Tour knows something that we don't. It goes in the same boat that Rocker Academy were continuously trying to force out a Gavutu hardpoint. Clearly, they know something that we don't. Revenge Tour are obviously feeling the ante that they might be able to take that swing map mode if it comes down to it. Map 3 regardless, you got to be feeling some sort of confidence when it comes down to facing Minnesota Rocker Academy on that Tuscan Control, as they are 5-2 on it still through all of the elites.
Well, we're going over towards Gavutu hardpoint to kick things off. As you say already, Rocker, technically speaking, they have a better map score versus this Revenge Tour roster, but we really don't know what to expect from this new Revenge Tour team. They've made a change in the roster. Denzer, arguably their star player, no longer on the team. We'll see what Chaxter can bring to the table. As right from the off, Metals, well, he's having absolutely none of it. He's going to win the first few gunfights in favor for Rocker Academy, and now Revenge Tour might have to start thinking about repositioning themselves around that boat side to make sure they do not lose control of this game early. Oh. And we've lost control of the game, apparently.
Yeah, we've completely lost control. I try to hit the rotation, Brody. I got absolutely smoked. I lost control.
It's not a surprise, is it, mate? You just really you need to stop losing your rotational gunfights. Honestly, the amount of times it frustrates me. Regardless, we'll get back into that game as soon as possible. But it was a good start from Metals, right? He picks up 3 kills right off the rip. It's what we expect from Metals, who has been a highly explosive player, not just today, but in Season 1 also. But it is a very interesting conversation point, isn't it? What do we expect out of Revenge Tour moving forward? Because they are a new-look team. And honestly, I said this, I think the conversation has changed significantly from when you and I had it before we got in. I will highly admit that I had chalked this up to be a 3-0 to Rocker Academy. I was like, yep, no chance. I did not think this Revenge Tour roster would be anywhere near as good as they were. And I really do not mean that as a slight against Chaxter. It is more just how bloody good Denzer was in Season 1. But, I mean, look, they clearly have proved a lot of people wrong already. They won a Game 5 versus Zuckery's Bakery. What do we expect from this team, Andy?
I think that you're mostly just going to be looking to what Chaxter does bring to the table. I hate to sound so cookie-cutter comparatively to what I was talking about with the originals not a few moments ago. The argument for, what Hockey is going to be able to do in lieu of not having Furious. The 2 different X Factors, big shoes to fill, obviously. But I think you have to look at what Chaxter is able to do now that they're going to be further enabled. Because if there's one player that we constantly talked about for Revenge Tour, it was Watson. Watson is that main AR for this Revenge Tour roster. And they are quite good on a lot of these different game modes. But as we wait for that game to get re-put together, we'll hop back in towards Zuckery's Bakery versus the originals playing through their Desert Siege, Search and Destroy.
Indeed we will. Back to the desert we go. It's a lot of water to be found out here. Nako going to be thirsty, not just for water, but some kills as well. Rafi might well be on the plate here, as Super are going to take him down. And that's a sniper shot if I've ever heard one. Nice Kar98K shot coming out from Super, but very quickly does this round turn in favor of the originals. Jakob on the defuse, though. Can he get this done before Nile takes him down? No, he cannot. Good effort, though, from Sukri to try it.
Gotta respect it. I mean, the amount of ninjas and the amount of times where we didn't end up seeing anybody go check the bomb when it was required. Major number 1 was, I don't know, I guess frustrating would probably be the word. Bread and butter, search and destroy. Just gotta check that. And it's up coming through. The originals, I think, going forward, this map could actually start to really favor them if you're able to at least get past the reactionary play that is Sukuri's Bakery on Search and Destroy. Typically, when it comes down to a lot of their different maps, Super and Sukuri will flip in between sniper roll. On their offense first, it actually looks like it's going to be immediate university control for Sukuri's Bakery, and off of that first blood on a Nile, I just be able to achieve it.
Nicely done, first blood for Sukuri's Bakery. Now it's about holding it. Tilty being thrown out by Sukuri's Bakery, just trying to find something they can further their advantage in this round. It'll be huge. There you go. Sukuri going to do exactly that, but he has been spotted out by Grad. Doesn't matter. Sukuri just a little bit better. And now Hawkeye left up 1 versus 4, the new addition to the squad. Wouldn't this just be nice if he could get it done? But the bomb now at B. This is going to be tough for basically anybody, including.
Doesn't look fun. You make that?
Right.
Oh, you can do that. All right, see ya. Oh, I don't think he actually got killed there at the end. I think he actually got blooded there at the end.
That's tough.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did. Oh, no.
That's gotta be frustrating. But I think even still, the sufficient damage, the way it all plays out, if there's like an extensive damage done to the player trying to take themselves off the map, it actually ends up garnering a kill over towards the opposite side, and it sure will be the case. Don't want to be feeding any streaks, but at the end of the day, definitely got to be putting yourself on the board here. And if Sukuri's Bakery will continue to find value in trying to force the engagements out and walking away with it, then the originals need to be able to counteract that with these longer lines of sight being held. And A push is what it's starting to look like. Very long-range gunfights being thrown from Hockey, but the flank is in. 1 for 1 we go.
1-for-1 we go indeed. Jacko going to be sitting on B steps. Quickly taken down by Niall. Oh, Niall. Okay, buddy. Just take the whole squad down with you. Why don't you? Is it Sukri now left up 1 versus 3? He's not going to be able to stop the plant. Can he at least get a kill? Absolutely not. The Originals showing off some great search and destroy here in round number 5. Still behind, though.
They are still behind, Brody. Just by a single round, though. And it's a big showcasing for Niall, surprisingly. Look, say what you will about the guy coming off of the original Season 1. We're walking away from Season 1 with a .63 KD. But they were putting themselves in a very tough position to try to play that objective role. But now we finally got ourselves in. Rocker Academy versus Revenge Tour, ready to go for map number 1. Don't pay attention to that white box at the top of the screen. Map number 1 to start things off with our main focus of our game here for the second slot of EU. It was a good start for Metals. The first go of things, Revenge Tour are able to bounce all the way back with numbers in possession of P1 early.
I think they'll be a lot happier with this go of things this time around. However, I think that happiness will very quickly dissipate. Lucky on to the point, man. He just crushes so many players' happiness, doesn't he? As he picks up 3 inside the point. Now looking to do some more damage here. It's going to be Mythics down low. Long before Chaxter comes to join the party as well. Has he brought any party rings? Who knows? I would love some party rings at the moment, to be honest. I'm sure that Revenge Tour would as well. As Rocker Academy here starting to really put the pressure on early. These rotational gunfights will be big, and Journey will lose his. That should, at the very least, offer up some time here so that Rocker Academy can find their way over towards New.
Lucky started off on 5-0, by the way. Casual. Now putting themselves in a position to maybe try to get some streaks early. And, well, actually playing on the objective. Mythics not able to get the better part of Lucky. Now on 6 in a row for them. Lucky's definitely the player we're going to continuously talk about, who also picks up an SMG. They're now on 7 in a row. Working themselves closer and closer to getting themselves some streaks. And off of Season 1 alone, Lucky did have a 62% true engagement success. And what do I mean by that? When Lucky finds themselves in a gunfight, Brody, 62% of the time they're either getting an assist or a kill. This Kavutu hardpoint is showing you why. It's showing you why.
Yeah, it's lucky, isn't it, mate? Yeah, there's nothing else you can really say about it. Finishes 8 kills deep. That means the glide bomb has been earned. Rocker Academy will be very happy about that. If Journey wins this guy, I was going to say, if Journey wins even one of those gunfights, Revenge Tour will find themselves in a bit of a sticky situation, but they've got themselves out clean. Revenge Tour now going to have an opportunity here to get a full 60 off the back of this hold. I would not be surprised here, Andy, if we see that glide bomb investment coming on through early on. Rocker Academy, I think they'll want to kind of put a closer on this game before we even started. And, mate, I'm a clairvoyant. That's all I can really say at this point. As Revenge Tour going to bring that glide bomb down. As Revenge Tour, sorry, going to be actually falling foul to that glide bomb. Rocker Academy really starting to apply the pressure as Revenge Tour now going to spawn out.
You're as smart as you are, Handsome Brody, but you got to be able to at least clear out the backside, which Real is currently doing. Spawns will flip, so now desperation push coming through for Revenge Tour, and they are starting to fly their way all the way inside of this hardpoint. Another glide bomb comes through, and that's going to be Metals. Yeah, I agree with that one. I'm not too sure about that going forward. It's Rocker Academy that are playing from the backside of the spawns, more or less trying to do this with nades and stuff, but applying the pressure continuously. Most important about these glide bombs coming through, Brody, is that it's denying Revenge Tour much hardpoint time as they had wanted with the initial setup going in towards 3.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. The first glide bomb, completely sensible. The second one, I don't know where that came from, to be honest. I think it was a bit of a Hail Mary play, because at Rocker Academy in this position right now, you're kind of trapped on this side of the map. It's not exactly where you want to be. You're going to want a quick break here to make sure the Revenge Tour don't do any damage to the scoreline that you've built up over the first half of this game. But turn our attention over towards the radar station now. Rocker Academy have to find their way on through. Look at Watson. I have no idea why Watson has spawned there. It might have something to do with the fact that Metals is keeping an eye on that back spawn, but Journey and Lucky are going to come through to pick up 2. Just Mythics left alive, and just like that, Rocker Academy, they find their way on in.
Watson has to go big if they want to try to battle for this back 30. Ends up at least finding 1, but I mean, Journey's just posted up on their belly inside of this little walkway, and immediately just cutting down 2 players, 105 to 56, down to scrap time, and that's right around the time that if you're Revenge Tour, you got to start chalking and rotating. Not a great opening set of hills so far for Chaxter, 2 and 13. On the other side of things, though, Rocker Academy are absolutely flourishing. Only do Lucky and Real both have a minute worth of hardpoint time, but Lucky Metals 13-5, 12 and 3 respectfully. Journey with the submachine gun on Kavutu, definitely go unnoticed how much value he is finding, but as soon as Shaxter actually gets himself inside of the hill, Explosive Barrel actually takes him down. So now an opportunity for Rocker Academy to try to break in early.
Well, you need good plays, and well, there it is from Real. Picks up 2. Journey and Lucky join the party as well. And Revenge Tour now going to spawn up over towards the boat on the beach. And, well, they might as well be beached at this point. Rocker Academy just in a really good position overall here to hold on to this hard point. It's going to be Watson, maybe the closest player to do something about this 30 seconds of time. But you've got a problem in metals that you will need to deal with up top in LST. Watson does exactly that. Now, objective number 2, try and make your way onto the point to stop any more of this scrap time going away. Keza are definitely going to try it. Journey and Real, though, holding strong. And actually, Watson, alongside Shaxter, looking to try and grab this time. Even if they themselves do not get it, they have stopped Rocker Academy getting a lot of that scrap time. Now they turn their attention over towards the rotation. Unfortunately for them, they do not lose the initials. Watson trying to cause some problems over towards P3. But Metals, mate, every time that Revenge Tour look like they're going to come in strong, there's always an answer from Rocker Academy.
Yeah, truly. I mean, denying scrap time is one thing, but you need more than that. You need to be able to get yourself over towards one of these hard points, and you need to find yourself a substantial hold. Revenge Tour really only finding themselves, on average, about 12 seconds per hard point in the initial rotation, Brody, and that's just, well, it's simply not going to be good enough. As Rocker Academy have themselves a 100-point lead, will bounce back up towards P1. Be contested for the time being. Mythics at least trying to keep the play alive, and they will do so successfully. On 18 seconds here, Revenge Tour need to try to find themselves a rotational gunfight to get LST control. It's going to come down to Keza to try to do so, but the second they try to get to the top of the staircase, they get gunned in the back, and from the top of the staircase, Rocker Academy reigning supreme on the rotation and in the kill feed.
Mate, every time, Rocker Academy just look venomous, don't they? Journey with another one as well. He makes it look so easy. Although, I will say the MP4 is a pretty good weapon, so I'm not all surprised.
You can't do that with an MP4. I've seen it.
Mate, not at my rank in rank play. I can do what I want, mate. Don't you worry about it. I'm basically playing on my own Smurf account, regardless, though. Real and Journey, they don't need Smurf accounts here. They're going to pick up a couple of kills. There are some trades coming back from Revenge Tour, though. Yet again, it is Rocker Academy, time and time again, who have the final say. They now are 100 points in the lead. Real on a 5 spree. He's already got the glide bomb at this point. It's just to overlap, and he will get shut down, but it's not really much of a problem, is it? Rocker Academy, look, they got 25 seconds left here, Andy. They're on the better side of the map for the next rotation. They might even well get the scrap time as well. Revenge Tour, they are deep in trouble.
They could absolutely close it out on P3 as well. A very, very difficult hard point to break unless you bring the beans to the fight on top ring. But look at the rotational gunfights actually coming through here on top ring as well. Watson's also really pushed up. Would have loved to be able to find that kill on a Journey, who is actually behind the play now. Mythics, or Real, excuse me, is able to get themselves a glide bomb. Actually just be information for the time being. Did not confirm any kills, but most importantly, denies Revenge Tour from trying to get inside of the hard point, at least the position to be able to break it early.
Well, Shaxter hasn't had a good game so far. 6 and 25 now, an opportunity to rectify that, and, well, just falters, doesn't he? Rocker Academy, sniff him out, or it can even get anywhere close. Revenge Tour now kind of have to headbutt this from the front of the hill. And they, well, might have a chance of doing it. Metals, though, inside wants to put their chances at 0%. It's actually going to be Journey who's able to do it with those 2 kills. More ring control, more control of the anti-air gun, and you will be splendid. Journey picks up 4 in a row as Revenge Tour going to spawn up close. You got to touch hill right about now. Can you get it done? I think Revenge Tour, no, they can't get it done. Rocker Academy close out a dominant map number 1. They looked so good at every turn.
Hardpoint's going to be their game mode, Brody. I mean, we've talked about it continuously. They are the #1 hardpoint team in Europe statistically, and, well, you're seeing why. Again, when it came down to it, as far as stats are concerned, the only other team that actually backed an argument to be a better hardpoint team was Revenge Tour, but we're talking about old Revenge Tour with Denza instead of Shaxter, and,
right,
you know, the immediate conversation point was being, what is Shaxter going to be able to be doing on the map now that they're going to be further enabled with this team that was creating a lot of space to make Denza's role that much more comfort. But once you get in the position, you have to be able to find yourself those 1v1s. You have to be able to convert those into multi-kills continuously, much like what we saw from Denza. Otherwise, everybody else is just going to get absolutely destroyed on a lot of these longer lines of sights with the automaton that we know that it can do, especially on a map like Gavutu. But when you have an SMG presence of like what we saw from Journey on the opposite side, it's not just these longer lines of sights anymore. Journey was actively breaking things from the front, for their team to find so much map positioning continuously. And when they were inside the hill, and Real is also there at the same time when they broke out an SMG as well, Brody, is that they were just able to at least go 1 for 2 more often than not. You have to be able to at least exert that presence when it comes down to that type of role, that flex role, if you will. They're on Gavutu as Revenge Shore get put in the absolute blender, as we'll take a look at some of these stats. Again, don't want to harp on it too much, but Dexter's got big shoes to fill. 627, not good at all. But on the opposite side, a lot of praise could be said. Journey 27 and 18, 20 and 10 double positive for medals. He said every single time that Revenge Shore felt like that they were finally trying to get themselves a setup. Medals is right there to absolutely deny it.
Yeah, look, one thing I will say is at the end of the day, that is not a map for Shaxter, right? Gavutu, generally speaking, does favor the ultimate Horn players. It's a big boy map, right? And at the end of the day, Shaxter is not an auto player. So not surprising to see him kind of struggle, but you're absolutely right to point it out. Again, you don't want to harp on a player too much at the end of the day. But, this was one of the big talking points, wasn't it? Denza, he was a star player for Revenge Tour. He was the entire reason that Revenge Tour existed as a team name. And, for Shaxter to come in, he has to play well. He has to kind of replace Denza's positioning on the team. And so far, map number 1, that is not it, Chief. But for Rocker Academy, regular service, isn't it really? German 18, just a solid performance. The rest of the squad as well, just incredible. But let's take a look at our map set. That is quite a scoreline to kick things off. We're going over towards Tuscan Search and Destroy next. And this... I think immediately, at the very least, it looks like a good map set, I think, at this point for Rocker Academy.
Before I dive into that, Tuscan Search and Destroy, just as a quick little update, Ultra Academy on the mainstream are going up against GWR Signs. They took that map number 1, 250-179 on a Berlin Hardpoint. If anybody wanted to know, Sucre's Bakery versus the original, Sucre's Bakery have a 2-0 lead. One that Desert Sea Search and Destroy is 6-4, but... Yeah, Brody, I'll agree with you that this map set is absolutely really good for Rocker Academy. I mean, when it comes down to it, Revenge Tour, off of what little practice I'm sure that they have with Shaxter ever since Denza moved to make this Vengeance roster with Wee Man Maple and Wardy, that you're mostly going to be questioning how comfortable is this team with one another, because a lot of their success, I would say, comes through with being, I guess, questionable as far as what a lot of their setups and pushes look like, but finding value in being weird while it was going down, because that's just what Denza brings to the table as an individual. That little X factor is now gone, and when it comes down to Tuscan Search and Destroy, albeit when these two teams historically played in Season 1, Revenge Tour did win it in a Round 11 fashion, it's going to be quite telling, specifically of what we saw from Rocker Academy versus Ultra Academy in our very first series on the day. Yes, it went down to the wire, but even so, Rocker Academy continuously finding value in erupting, as you were calling it, when they were in 2v3s or in 2v odd situations, be able to bounce back and be able to get themselves a numbers advantage while playing against the clock, retaking sites, getting the bomb down. It's just going to be a really scary sign for Revenge Tour. If they can't match it the way that we saw from Ultra Academy, this could be a very quick series.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for me. I will say, if anything, Revenge Tour will be looking at that last game right now and thinking, hey, look, at the end of the day, it was a very close one between Toronto Ultra Academy EU, who were, previously, before they brought Furious onto the team, a bad S&D team, right? So maybe they can take that as a positive, right? You can be like, right, if it was close between those two teams on this map with combination, we can absolutely win. And the one thing I will say is, having spoken to Watson a fair bit over the last few weeks and months about this team, about whatever team he's been playing on, whether it was Revenge Tour or the team that preceded it, at the end of the day, he is a tenacious player. He will always be looking for the revenge, as the name would suggest, and he is never going to give up. So that is something you'll have to keep an eye out on as we look over towards that later down the line. But we are actually going to be going towards Tuscan, just not Search and Destroy, and not with that Rocker versus Revenge Tour series. It's the Originals versus Sucre's Bakery, and since we last checked in, well, Sucre's Bakery are now 2-0 up.
Yeah, very interesting conversation is Sucre's Bakery when it comes down to control as a whole. You remember, Brody, going into the playoffs, we're actually undefeated on control as a whole, that they actually only ended up losing a single control. That was actually in their final match of the season versus the Originals on this very map, 2-3. So we'll have to see if any history is doomed to repeat itself. But again, it is hockey instead of furious. First round win in the favor of Sucre's Bakery, but as far as an offense is concerned, always guarantee yourself that B zone, but very difficult is trying to find the value. The battle on two different fronts, I like to call it, to get over towards B.
Oh, Rafi. Potentially here looking to defend onto the point, but Eric Boom just too fast at the moment as Sukri's Bakery look to find their way on through, and that's going to be 3 kills for Sukri's Bakery. Now do they jump onto the point? I don't think comfortable enough to do it just yet, and here comes the streak in from Super. This is a problem. Nice streak efficiency here from Sukri's Bakery as now they start to take control of the point. Progression would be nice at this point, but if you can dig the lives even further in your favor, it would be great. And look at the flank now, potentially coming in from Yakko as well. Super, that's a disgusting spot, you dirty man, as now Sukri's Bakery gonna have to back away. The push doesn't exactly work.
We'll pop off from our producer, too. Into the spot they go. You have
happy.
a very nasty line of sight from that little windowsill. I don't know how a soldier, the size of their boots, is able to stand on top of there, but really good opportunity presented itself from trying to get themselves at least the B capture point, but now it's 11v8 going forward for themselves, is that you can essentially just play a glorified TDM, just continuously push out the issue. You know that you got the better gunny, just try to push them all the way back. You got 45 seconds left to close it out for Sukri's Bakery on offense.
Hawkeye going to pick up one, 7v9. Originals do not have the lives here in this position, but they do have time on their side. That is something we do need to consider. Eric Boom going to draw out 1 kill. Oh, no! Hawkeye, you can't let that one happen, buddy. The trades are in, but 8 versus 4 we go now. The Originals have to be a lot more careful because now they are mortal. They do not have any more lives remaining spare. 7v3 now. Hawkeye out of the round. Rafi out of the round as well. Grad on the other side of this wall. And Yakko going to slam him into it. 5 versus 1. It's all on the shoulders of Grad. It's all on the MP40 of Grad to save this round. Can he do it? Not even before. The capture is in. Sukri's Bakery. They start very, very strong on that control. 2-0 now. And that might well be the victory that they needed. Just one more for the win and the 3-0. But going back to our main focus matchup now, Andy, it's Revenge Tour versus Rocker Academy, and the first round is going to go the way of Revenge Tour.
Second round.
Second. Yeah, look, we were a little bit late into it. Okay,
all right. Numbers are hard. I understand. Words
yeah,
are
look,
your
yeah.
Numbers are my thing. Just let it happen, all right? But it's, I think, again, for Revenge Tour going forward, if you remember actually through Season 1, well, you called it. Jaxer's timing on this map mode combo is absolutely fantastic. It's something you could paint a picture about, and you're seeing why. You know, we already hit it up on the point. Kavutu is a big hardpoint map for a standing SMG that is Jaxer. It's an offensive push coming out from Revenge Tour. A lot of mid-map coverage coming through, but even from Ultra Academy matchup, Rocker Academy are completely okay conceding this space. It's their set nades that Revenge Tour need to deny and count before they actually plant this rock. Lost Brody to the beat bug again, but as it stands, Rocker Academy able to at least hold the space, able to find those 2 kills. Jaxer still holds the bomb. There's still actually over here in you, and Journey's actually going to be able to completely read this. That'll be communicated to Lucky. Now Keza, who was that island player over by P5, will be scouted out, was probably in a giant tussle throughout the entirety of that. A big round for Rocker Academy to put themselves on the board.
We are going to close things out here with that final kill. Nicely done. Big round, I think, for Rocker Academy there. You don't really want to let the ball go rolling here for Revenge Tour from the off. And this has been a better start for Jaxter, right? We talked about his performance that was less than desirable in map number 1. Here, he's already started as the top fragger for Revenge Tour. 4 and 2. How much more damage can he do? Is Revenge Tour going to put a few resources into a B defense here? Rocker Academy, they're playing this one just as slow.
The only issue is Rocker Academy going to fully expect this coming all the way through? Essentially, everybody's over on the south side of the map. Rocker Academy are not finding any sort of resilience here in the middle of the map, and now Jaxter's actually behind the entirety of the plane. It looks like the Metals might have at least an idea, but just a moment's too late. Bomb goes down. Numbers advantage for the defense.
And Mythic's going to follow up with another one as well. Lucky in for the trade, but Jaxter continues to be a problem player over towards Vines. And Real in a 1 versus 3. He does take down 1. They know where he is, though. The aggression from Real. There's no way. There's no way this 1 versus 4 happened is there. Watson does spot him out, though. The pistol of Watson is a little bit better. And he will grab that defuse. But I tell you what there, it just looked scary, didn't it, for Revenge Tour. Real, he had the bomb timer on his side.
And it's actually really funny. We have these 2 teams in a search and destroy. I'm sure you remember very vividly on that Bokash search and destroy grand finals. Season 1, just the big old 1v4. A whole ace for Mythics on the other side. God, that was freaky. Now gave themselves a really good opportunity to maybe try to close things out, but try to get a full read on where the last player was going to be coming from. No way they were going to be able to know that Watson was coming out from that position. 2-round lead now for Revenge Tour, and they're actually going to continuously try to push their way over towards A. Real, as this island player, won't have much resistance at all. So they try to end up doing with it now that we're in a 3v3.
Mythics back here towards the tree. Metal's going to push him here in this one. And there it is. Mythics will end up falling. Nicely done by Metals to draw that blood. Now Chaxter and Watson left up in a 2 versus 3. Make it a 0 versus 3, mate. They're all down in the dirt as Journey will pick up the defense.
Team shots coming through. Relax, Metals. They ain't that serious. Teammate defuse the bomb, man. But yeah, again, when it comes down to Rocker Academy, as far as the defensive round is concerned, we saw this continuously. It's very, very rare that we end up actually seeing players try to aggressively try to take the middle of the map, especially with knowing the timings on the opposite side for an offensive team. But I think most importantly for Rocker Academy is that you just continue to play off the strengths. I mean, you get the information from the nades, you're confirming off the information. It just comes down to timing of the bomb being planted and taking down those numbers as well. Chaxter 7-4. 2 rounds off the bat, or 2 rounds. Rocker Academy. I'll be looking towards this push, potentially over towards A, but they're actually showing a lot more presence over towards the patio side this round.
Oh, Real trying to draw things up here. Nicely done to pick up that kill versus Keza. And crucially gets away with his life. Journey elsewhere. Going to draw yet another blood here. Trades going back and forth very quickly in this one. Most of them really traded at all. Lucky can get this bomb down there. 2 for 2 we go. Lucky might well run into 1. That is Mythics, and Mythics win the fight. Chaxter on the flank as well now. And Real. I mean, his positioning was his power. That was his advantage. Now he's been spotted out, but he does get the first kill. 1v1 we go between Real and Mythics. I think Real might have just spotted out Mythics here.
Doesn't actually elect to chase it all the way through. Real trying to cut them off. He knows where Mythics is going to try to go top fire. Has an SMG for this battle, and Mythics has an AR. Comes down to timing. Anybody sees it. 10 seconds. You just got to stay alive if you are Real. Be able to do that. Checks it. I'm swooping down like Batman. Completely find that kill scot-free, and as the information does was at least found, Real just read it completely like a book, who is also having themselves a great Tuscan Search and Destroy. The island player over by P5, again, it would just completely Kool-Aid man his way through that broken doorway, Brody, and then just immediately found that first blood, pushed all the way through in the back. Revenge Tour, well, they try to end up dealing with it. It just simply could not deny Real, who is now on 4. Going in towards this round, you would almost assume that there has to be a certain amount of respect given to the simple fact that you have to put 1 player to watch this long flank.
And Revenge Tour, Chaxter gets a little bit too hungry there onto you. Leaves the bomb in a bit of a precarious spot now, doesn't he, for Watson and Keza. And Watson's now been stunned out in fire. This is a horrendous position for Revenge Tour to find themselves in. They've got to grab that bomb. How are they going to do it? And everyone decides to play statues now, don't they? As nobody wants to give anything up for free. Revenge Tour might try to find the advantage through Church. Now up top. Can he get these kills in? The noise is being made by Revenge Tour. Rocker Academy not giving them an inch, though. And there you go. Surgically done. Those players, they did all they could.
Starting to fully understand what Revenge Tour are trying to look for. Again, those A pushes. Lucky breaks out the Car 98K. Completely shuts down the entirety of the lane. And although the offensive team is able to get inside of you scot-free, just completely commit a second player to clear out all of you. You remember something that happened not too long ago? Well, Rocker Academy definitely had the better gunny as far as that Kavutsu hardpoint is concerned. And they're starting to find the pacing. Shut down Chaxter. 8-6 now. Started themselves off at 7-3, I do believe, was the scoreline, but has not found the same amount of value in these middle rounds. Journey will find first blood towards the middle of the map, and that'll be a great opportunity going forward. Maybe if bomb plant to come through, but Journey's a little bit caught off guard. 1 for 1 we go. Bomb drops smack down in the middle of the map.
It's again, this time it's Rocker Academy that have to pick up the bomb in a bit of a horrible spot. And even worse now, they have lost metals in the effort. And now Real as well. Well, Lucky, 1 versus 3. If you want anybody in this position, it probably is Lucky. But as soon as he pushes out to mid, Keza should have his number, dials it, and hangs up the phone for good measure. That's going to be Revenge Tour now, tying this one up.
That's kind of like what we saw from Rocker Academy and a lot of their offenses, wasn't it? I mean, they're trying to get wildly aggressive through the middle of the map. Like, you can snap onto a multitude of players, but we know the defensive setup is going to have some sort of mixture. Maybe a player top church, bottom church, player top sandbags, not a player over inside of that window, just waiting for that push to come all the way through. And unless you have an AR overwatching the SMG player in the middle of the map, that completely negate any player's automaton from killing the bomb carrier, no less. The immediate value for the defense. 4 to 4. On number 9 we go. Watson, timing, good. Can't get the gunfight, though, but the bomb is planted at A regardless.
With the information gained, will at the very least allow them to take down Journey. Watson now looking to further the advantage by taking down Metals, but will not be allowed to do so. And well, I was going to say this is a pretty valuable flank from Keza. It could well still prove to be so. But now, as his teammate's going to fall around him, Keza's best hope is just to make sure that this bomb is not defused, and Real going to win the 1v1. Rocker Academy flawlessly here, retake the site. Metals going to get the defuse on through.
This is an update. If anybody wanted to know, the end of that Sukari Bakery Originals matchup will be a 3-0, and I mean that both in the Tuscan Control and the overall series as a whole. Even more so than that, this Rocker Academy roster is just, I mean, they're trying to put themselves in a very aggressive position. Revenge Tour shut it down at least through a few rounds, but force Rocker Academy's hand to play methodical search and destroy and just bait out positioning and just play the information trade. They look just as scary. Now up on map point, going to be their offensive side. Again, you're going to end up having Real as that island player over towards P5. It's not electing to push all the way through this time around. Just trying to get a lot of nades and a lot of confirmation alone for these 3 players that are off top church for Revenge Tour.
Now Metals here. 1v1 versus Jackster. Jackster's going to win that one in the mid. Again, knows he has to take the player out over towards the bomb site. It doesn't happen. Now we're at a standstill once again. Rocker Academy, I'm going to say they didn't want to plant it. I think now they're more than comfortable to. They'll probably get away with doing so. Real now going to be stunned over towards maps. This is a big couple of gunfights from Real. He loses both. So Watson going to take him down. Now a 3 versus 2. Rocker Academy going to push themselves all the way towards the back of the map, and Journey wins 1. Trades galore. Lucky inside fire, able to take down 1. Can he get away? Yes, he can. Keza going to have to locate him, and he chooses wrong. Lucky has escaped, and now they might well butt heads once again. Hugh's camera is a little bit better. Keza's is, he wins the 1v1. We're going around 11 again on Tuscan.
Such a tough call if you're lucky there at the end. I mean, again, you have no immediate information that, for one, Keza was already behind you in Fire Alley. And if you're Keza, you're not going to go completely clear out all of Church on the backside of the well. You have to clear out Fire first and foremost, and over by Ruins. Essentially, that's where the bomb's going to be planted for a timing over on side of the Ruin side, or the clutch spot up in top Fire. Lucky just having to go back all the way through and not, again, understanding that. Goes to check the bomb around that 12-second margin. Just almost could have expected that Keza might be on the defuse. Was not. Has to be an offensive round for Revenge Tour if they want to close it out here. Suns through the middle of the map is going to slow up Chaxter, but it's still going to try to go for this plant.
Mythic draws first blood as well, crucially. So this bomb plant from Chaxter, he is going for it and determined to get it down. Journey going to stop him. That is huge. Rocker Academy now have the information that the bomb is down. They've stopped the plant. This is very much in their favor now. Now can they work off it? Metals again is just baiting out Mythics here over towards Ruins. Doesn't want to give anything away. Just look how methodical these players are. Journey with a crucial one-on-one, and Keza doesn't win it. Real gonna finish up shot for him, and now this is even tougher for Revenge Tour. A 2 versus 3. They've got to get the bomb down, but at the very least they do exactly that.
Yeah, Mythics is able to get down and get away with their life, so now they're going to play on the backside of this monument going forward. They're assuming that the push is going to come through the middle of the map.
Well, Mythic's going to get that blood onto Metals at the end of the day, so now 2 versus 2. A good call from Watson, calls out where Journey is going to be, and now 1v2 for Mythics. He can't get it done. Real going to take him down. And once again, Rocker Academy survive a brush with Search and Destroy Death. They take a second round 11 here on this map mode combo today.
Whew. I'll tell you what, man. I mean, this Rocker Academy roster is certainly love to keep things close now, don't they? But I think that round completely just falls off. If for one, Keza did have at least the HP advantage with that engagement through the doorway over inside of communications, but there's no way you would ever expect that Real and Journey defensively are playing over on top patio. It's a beautiful bait and switch. Really, I mean, it's a bread and butter at the end of the day. If you're going to try to at least try to hit through a flank defensively like that, better bring a squad mate because you don't want that avenue to become open for the offense to try to coordinate a flank of their own. We saw what Real was able to do it continuously on offense for Rocker Academy, but that one little play that happened over there on the island play, shutting it down and being able to at least come back to the middle of the map with a somewhat numbers advantage and all of the information alone. Although Metals did die over by Monument, it was the information that they needed alone. Whether they saw the second player or not, they were able to get confirmation that there was one player on the backside of the statue. And from there on out, it was just trying to isolate that last player, which they did ever so kindly, Rocker Academy. Pretty darn good to start off our Season 2 here, Brody.
Yep, indeed they are. Let's take a look at the stat lines then at the end of that game. And it is not lucky this time that will be going off in a Tuscan Search and Destroy around 11-1 at that. It's Real who comes out strong with 11 kills to his name. 5 of those were untraded. Big performance coming out from him. Journey as well, a name that we definitely should not go unnoticed. He has 9 kills to his name. Very well played at the end of that. But I tell you what, you know, we said at the end of map number 1, right? We said that Chaxter needed to have a better performance moving forward in this series. That's definitely an improvement. He finishes off more kills in the Search and Destroy than he did in the Hardpoint.
All right. Well, first of all, let's go ahead and just say the simple fact that when we initially hopped in halfway through that Search and Destroy, Chaxter was what, at like 7-3, 7-4?
He was having a game.
Ends at 10-10. So that does speak volumes, especially on the latter half of that Search and Destroy, comparatively to where Chaxter started off. 7-3, 3-7 on the opposite side, or very close to that numbers indifferential as it may be. That Rocker Academy basically made Chaxter on the latter half a non-benefactor, just could not keep up with the aggression, was actually being shut down from all the different avenues of attack. So now we go over towards the Tuscan control. Again, as far as the flip was concerned, this went towards Revenge Towards pick. They knew something that we don't. They want to take this Rocker Academy roster here on Tuscan Control to try to come back and at least give some breath of fresh air to the series on their side.
Absolutely. It's going to be tough, though. Control on Tuscan. This was a pick, by the way, that, again, it was Revenge Tour that picked this map mode combination in the series, and it is just, we've talked about it already. It is just a really odd one, considering the history of Rocker Academy on Control on Tuscan. They are very, very good at this. Their offense, their streak efficiency, it is so good. That might have changed, considering what we saw in map number 1, where maybe the streak efficiency wasn't as great as it usually is from Rocker Academy. Nonetheless, yeah, it is a bit of a weird pick from Revenge Tour, but clearly if they have picked it, they are confident enough that they could win it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's already hard enough as it is to be able to achieve towards that glide bomb since the streaks have officially changed again here in European Challengers. You're not playing with the strafing run anymore. That is now GA'd. You really have to go hard to be able to make yourself at least, what is it, 7 kills in a row to be able to get that glide bomb and to be able to do it on a map like Kavutu. You know, using those streaks any way that you can see fit. Look, they're the pro players at the end of the day, Brody. We're just here to look good and talk about the games that they are playing. So, I mean, to be able to at least deny so much time and map presence away was the continuous benefactor of why Rocker Academy were able to close out map number 1. The same could be said about their Tuscan Control. And you already brought up the one simple fact that is their streak efficiency. But even more so than that, the way that they are able to play on a tighter map like Tuscan Control comparatively to Kavutu, this is a map that they can get very mixy on. There's a lot more angles, there's a lot more avenues. Basically, there's a lot less open land that basically is their biggest adversary when it comes down to them on Kavutu Control. You saw it in that Ultra Academy matchup not too long ago, that they were throwing a lot of lives away when it didn't necessarily feel necessary to do so. But here on Tuscan, they can get away with things like that because it's very easy to be able to get away with your life, especially now that we have this Rocker Academy on a little bit more of a comfortable setup for them. 2-2 to potentially open up our rounds here, 2 automatons, 2 MP40s. Most importantly, when it comes down to that beast zone, we know that this Rocker Academy roster loves their triple SMG.
Indeed, we do. In towards Tuscan, we will be going for this one. It will be the ending of this series. Rocker Academy have looked so good. Revenge Tour, though, they have had their moments. They could well take this control away from the Rocker Academy side. They need to, as a matter of fact. It would be a good start to a potential reverse sweep if Revenge Tour could get it done, and a good statement alongside their prior victory versus Sukri's Bakery. But in we go now to the Tuscan control. We're going to be kicking things off with Watson on board. Throw some utility out. Lucky and Metals on the other side. Mythics may be able to follow up with at least another kill in kind, but it is going to be Revenge Tour now looking to capture A.
It's always pretty much a given that the offense should be able to get an A zone, extend the clock, but not at the ferocity of what we just saw Revenge Tour, especially through the previous respawn map. Very tough to be able to go 1-for-1 to Gavutu hardpoint for a Tuscan control, but they look very concise on what they were looking for their opening rip, and they were able to shut down Rocker Academy, who were trying to get middle of the map control, trying to mark a little bit of a flank, and now they actually overextend themselves and get caught off guard. Jaxter's able to find this kill. They can get themselves in towards the back. This is about dealing with the players over by ramp, which they're able to start to do. Some more map positioning being found here for Revenge Tour as Watson does drop down.
Well, hey, that's pretty good from Revenge Tour. They're starting to get aggressive here, making sure they're up in Rocker Academy's face, and well, that is really how you deal with Rocker Academy. I think as a roster, you fight fire with fire. You make sure that you're answering their aggression with some aggression of your own. Keza might well have the key to exactly that. They have zero idea that Keza is in here from behind. His patience, though, will be tested. He'll be able to get that first kill. Now looking for any more damage he can do. And unfortunately, the damage is limited to just the one kill for now. Rocker Academy, they've upended anybody inside their spawn. Now it's about pushing these players out, making sure that your Revenge Tour roster are supporting up over towards Ruins, over towards Vines, basically as far away from B as you could possibly get.
Yeah, I mean, you end up losing your life. You see right where Jaxter spawns, all the way out in Bufu, more or less, be able to try to come help out their teammates. But Revenge Tour still trying to push on the backside of Church. You're able to find a collection of kills as well. The only issue is that you're really hoping for success, not only for the push on the backside of Church to come through, but for somebody to push through either bunks, get past through P5, and deny Rocker Academy that top radio control. What else can Jaxter do back here? Has more players spawning on the opposite side of that tank, and they're actually only able to take down Real before they go down. Now Keza has to stay alive, 5 HP. Would love some help, and Watson will be here to give said help, but the returning nade from Journey off the respawn will clear things out. Back to the drawing board again. 2 life lead in favor of the offense.
Well, so far I'm considering of these lives, right? I mean, what Revenge Tour will be pretty happy with the current situation. A 2 life advantage, but brought down to 1 now. Brought down to 0 now as Metals and Real will pick up some kills. Yet another one for Real as well. 10 versus 10 we go. Revenge Tour have one more pop at this control point before this round is over. They got to think about whether or not they want to invest their lives to get it done. I think they are going to, if they get this first kill. Journey's pushed through onto rooftops. Might loop back here to help out Lucky, and will do. There's the first kill. Journey looking for a number at 7. Will not find it. Is shut down before the glide bomb can be earned. But the pressure onto the point now is actually here. Keza and Watson have picked up some kills, but a nice nade and a nice scope from Metals will take down Keza. Can anybody touch in the last few seconds? Jaxter thinking about it, but it's like, well, actually, I'm just not going to waste any more.
Yep. +2 lead there for Rocker Academy. Not much, but it's still a lead no less if it ends up going down to a round 5. Again, it is not tick progression. That update, I don't believe, comes through for another 3 weeks or so. Going to be counting the lives there towards the end. And yeah, again, another good opportunity to present itself where you had Revenge Tour getting a lot of value on the backside of Church. They start losing their numbers, but because nobody was able to get value over by radio, they can't actually get those players comfortably over inside the B zone. The same could be said after they captured A. They just get thwarted on the opposite side. Nobody was expecting Journey on the flank there and their very last push. So now an offense for Rocker Academy. You're looking towards that A zone first and foremost. Revenge Tour, we're actually almost expecting Rocker Academy to go for broke off the opening rip to try to work their way inside of B. And because they're late to the rotation to try to deal with the players over at A, Real's got some time to get up on top, Church.
And how much damage can he do in this position, right? Because we've got Journey that's pushed fairly far up. I think Revenge Tour being very focused at the moment on making sure you limit the damage that Real can do, but he will get shut down before he can get anywhere close to Streak. So that is good news, I think, for Revenge Tour there, that they don't have to be concerned about that fact. And of course, they've secured B before any progression has been made on towards that point. Rocker Academy look like they should be able to finish off A without any problems. As I say that, though, they lose the player inside you. Now going to have to finally finish off this A point. So that's good for them. Keep an eye on one player, though, who sneakily managed to make his way through. He is shot down. That is Journey down.
And nonness, to say the least, to try to get on the backside of Church. But Lucky was Real. They're making the right call. Take a look at the minimap. Metals and Journey are going to push through this P5 area inside of maps. Actually end up seeing the barrel, and Journey's going to take down Mythic. So an opportunity does present itself. And while that's all happening, now you have the push coming through from the opposite side.
Metal's trying to take the player out inside radio. That is going to be Keza. Elsewhere, Journey's going to win the fight over towards Patio side. Now going to come and help out his teammate. I actually think he's kind of double-backed here towards the radio side. Unfortunately, it will not work out for him. 90 seconds still on the clock here. Rocker Academy do have quite a bit of pressure still up towards that radio. That's going to be Real and Lucky, but Chaxter in from behind should put a stop to this before any more damage is done. There you go. Just like that, Revenge Tour will stabilize here. And now it's exactly what was happening to them in the last round. Revenge Tour will play its over towards maps, over towards rooftops. Will ensure the Rocker Academy do spawn over towards vines.
Big numbers, though, coming through on the backside of Church. Luckily enough, you have Watson, who, again, probably the mainstay AR for this team of Revenge Tour, just locking things down, not allowing Rocker Academy to get too comfortable on the backside of Church, get their spawns flipped out to spawn in that top right-hand corner of the minimap, what we call grass. And as those present itself, the players that were over inside of maps, over by bunks, actually able to find themselves a little bit of time. And that was Chaxter, was actually able to push all the way through, get themselves one spawn kill. Now, they'll be traded all the way out. And while Rocker Academy are actually exhausting so much time, just trying to peek, just trying to throw shoulders, they're getting cut down and losing their numbers again. Just is going to exhaust so much time. I don't know how Lucky finds that last bullet to take down Mythics. That was actually a hipfire that ends up coming through. Now the disjointed hit as Real was trying to get it on the B zone. It's a little bit too antsy for my likings, but the push is still coming through for Rocker Academy.
This is an investment of lives. I think now you might be thinking, let's just get the hell out of Dodge here. There's 10 seconds left. If we can get this, great. If you can't, well, it doesn't matter too much. I think the thing they really want to focus on, if anything, is a life situation for that potential round number 5. 8 lives the difference here in this round. That is all it is going to be. Minus the 3 from the last. 5 lives currently in favor of Revenge Tour at the end of their defensive hold.
Yeah, it's 6 lives in the difference. Revenge Tour currently lead, but I mean, Rocker Academy just need to be able to fully realize this. It's almost the plague that continuously really shuts them out for a lot of these control maps, is that they just get really over-aggressive when they don't need to. And waiting for numbers and waiting for the opportunity to do so. Even throwing an over shoulder, trying to maintain the engagement, it's not good. And even there at the end, I mean, Real literally just threw his life away on the B zone. Instead of waiting for the push to come all the way through, at least some help to come all the way out. Watson with the set nade right over the top. You can see where those two players died on the east side of the ruins. That is a day 1 set nade coming through from Watson. Will deny any sort of defensive antics to try to get and deny this first take on A.
Look at this from Chaxter. They have no idea where he is. He could really disrupt this defensive hold on towards A. There is one. The second, it's not through because Real has actually pushed through to the point itself. In the end, it will be Keza who takes him down. But by this point, Chaxter has kind of roped back around towards his friends on towards the point. And now will just be part of the party on the point itself. Revenge Tour working off the back of this and getting shades of Denzer at the moment from Chaxter's gameplay. The way that he is kind of running around the map so fluidly, but will get taken down. And curiously here, Revenge Tour opting not to immediately capture the point. They haven't actually captured it at all.
Picks are all that you're able to find so far, Brody. And honestly speaking, I mean, this could be just a little bit of a fumble, depending on how things might play out. And typically when you end up having that happen, the response for Revenge Tour would probably rather have the flood come through over by P5, but because they're hesitating on trying to figure out what they're trying to look for, that allows Rocker Academy to get posted up furthermore about the 50-yard line or so and completely shut down more players as they're trying to figure out what to do. 22 v 18. Metals is now on 5 in a row. The potential play for streaks is absolutely on the cards for them. A massive life lead to boot.
I'd be worried if I was Revenge Tour at the moment. You need a Hail Mary play, and a Hail Mary play is exactly what they're going to deliver to us, signed and sealed, as Metal's still looking for a couple of kills. If he could find it, that glide bomb will be his. Lucky going to come and help out, but Metal's in a bit of a sticky situation over here. Keza, he's still around as the rest of his teammates going to fall around him. If he could at the very least get Metals, that would be huge, and he does exactly that. So streaks denied, but 7 seconds left on the clock. This is a big defensive hold from Rocker Academy. We were concerned about their lives at the end of the last round. But Rocker Academy bring it right back, and even in their favor by 1 frag.
actually end up having an even game if my math is correct there. We'll have to see. Fully. It's just the hesitation that really does it for me right there, Brody, is that in the middle of the round, like, you knew that there was at least 2 players over towards A. The respawns were almost felt like there was like an internal argument happening with the arrows of the mini map, maybe inside the comms. I'm sure I'm not listening to them, but I think that it's just one of those things that when they respawn back up, they weren't sure. Did we try to overcommit and get over towards this first tick or this last tick at A and setting the clock, or do you try to go get progress at B and split the defense up? That little hesitation just came back to really bite them in the rear. Rocker Academy themselves in a position to maybe try to close this out here on this offensive round. They're starting to really play through the middle of the map. 1 for 1 we go. A very slow start as far as kills are concerned, but once Revenge Tour fully know, these players are isolating themselves at, taking a half of progress does come through at A. Revenge Tour are doing a great job at least finding themselves trades of their own as far as the kill feed is.
Well, at least it's not as convincing of a start as Rocker Academy would like, right? So Revenge Tour, they've held them off a fair bit, but progress now being made towards A. Rocker Academy want to get this point out of the way before anything negative happens. Journey gonna have taken down Shaxter. Keza, though, look at the pressure he is applying right now to the players on towards the point. He even gets 2 kills there. 2 big gunfights that Revenge Tour will now need. Keza with 3, by the way. This man going off at the moment. And those kills will help Revenge Tour massively. 4.
So keeping it going. 19 and 13 now for Keza. Going to be looking for some timing. He's eating a lot of nades. At 24 HP. Has to continue to lay down. Love to get some help as well. They're still existing over by you, by the way. Now Rocker Academy trying to scrape by, trying to get themselves over inside of this A zone. People shut down Keza's hopes to be able to get some shrieks. They'll need this 3rd tick of progress, try to extend the clock, but they're doing a great job of just, like, tiptoeing around the zone so far, Brody. We still got 42 seconds remaining, and it looks like that it might be conceded for Revenge Tour going forward. No need to throw away this 5-life lead that you have.
Absolutely, the lives, I think, is really the headline at the moment for Revenge Tour, and even to a certain extent for Rocker Academy. If they can finish it here in round number 4, great, but I really think you have to be careful of the lives. Just try and play out some slays here. Try and play some bait and switches, get these players out into the open, and put the lives back at even. So far, they've done a great job of that. That's 3 kills in a row now for Rocker Academy, bringing down the deficit in this particular round to 2. Chaxter in from behind. Look at that call from Real. Game sense and a half as Chaxter will be called out. And he will get taken down in Kai. But still, the 3-life differential at the moment for Revenge Tour is too strong. Metal's the last remaining player on the point. He goes right into the Hornet's nest. And surprise, surprise, you're going to get stung in that position.
Got a minute. 4 life deficits. A whole set of respawns. Rocker Academy are down, but they just need one good push. Nice nade coming through from Journey right over top. Gonna be able to at least clear away the zone, but they got to be able to deal with at least one more player. It's gonna be over by Patio. That's gonna be Keza, who's been having themselves a great defense so far. These trades are starting to come through. Now it's Watson on the backside of the truck that is going to be their immediate problem. You can see Real trying to pick it up on the backside of Church.
Journey. Able to pick up 1, pre-firing for the 2nd in from behind. Journey, at the very least, just trying to play his life. Does so for long enough that the life deficit now just 1 here in this game. Revenge Tour looking for the defense on round number 5. 25 seconds left on the clock. You can see why Rocker Academy are playing this one super slow. They know they can't even afford to give 1 life up here. Six in the back line might well hold the key to this entire play. He has spotted out Real. That call will be made towards his teammate, but I'm pretty sure Real also has gained information as to where Mythix is. The gunfight's now going down on the point. Shaxter, can he get 1? No, he can't. 7v7 with 3 seconds left. Now look, we're even in lives at the end of that round. I know before you disagreed with me on what the life situation is, but I think that Rocker Academy have the defense here by 1 life.
So the way that I have it written down, I have it written down as far as like all even across the board, but it also comes down to elims as well, Brody.
Okay.
And it looks like as well, from all of the math that I did have, Revenge Tour were able to get themselves at least another assist or 2. Those eliminations as a whole, it's not real kills from top to bottom. And it ends up being, if it is all knotted up, 4 lives remaining. Garner Revenge Tour defensive side. Look, they can do this. They shut down Rocker Academy on this offense. Rocker Academy, they're playing with a certain amount of gusto, a certain amount of speed. It is a 3-for-0 start. Real is playing on an island. They have some help over here as well, Brody. They're looking to get some progress on B early.
Hey, this is every single kill going the way of Revenge Tour. Finally, there is an answer back. That's going to be 3 kills straight, actually. That is huge, because you do not want to give up any B progression early on in this one. Now, progression towards A has slowed up significantly. Revenge Tour, I think, after that initial stumble, just taking a step back and a breath as well, too. Rocker Academy will now capture A. Revenge Tour just repositioning here. Be careful, of course. You're keeping an eye on Journey on the minimap. He wins that crucial engagement over towards the patio side, looking for the second one as well. Keza wins it. Now Mythic's the last player left up in close proximity to the control zone. Chaxter spawns up and causes some problems. And now Lucky is left alive here, all in his lonesome, while he waits for his team to come and join the party.
Minute 55. 3 life lead. Rocker Academy just needs to play this slow to start things off, get themselves the setup, but turn, you also have to be careful that Chaxter's also trying to commit towards this flank play. They've actually got on the backside of the staircase. Sure, they're going to be aware of it. Yeah, completely reads it like a book. Take down Chaxter on the flank, and now it's just about dealing with things from the front, which they're starting to do in kind, but Watson lines it up. We'll find 2. I'll just try to stuff the push going forward, but you still got 2 players here for Rocker Academy.
How much damage can they do? 1 tick of progression would be nice, wouldn't it? But metals. He's going to fall. Lucky left up all on. Here's Larry. And, well, he is going to get some help from his teammates sooner rather than later. Lucky was on a 5-killing spree. He probably would have desired the glide bomb, but now Journey in from behind. He's able to get 1, not the second again. Keza is there. Keza picks up 2. Huge gunfights to clear the point, but it is 16-13 in favor of Rocker Academy. At this point, that life deficit, how many lives have gone down? I think this would still go down to time.
Would. So now Rocker Academy just need to be able to clear out the patio and at least get a player onto the zone to be able to saw that clock, and then you can start playing for the kills. 2 more as you start to come through. 1 trade to only speak of for Revenge Tour, and now they can start pushing up towards the spawn. They're going to stall out the clock here at 1:05, Brody, 15v8.
And it's a stack as well, one that's come fresh off the deep fat fryer. Rocker Academy, they're looking to stack the point, they're looking to close it out, and they capitalize on the moment. Carpe diem, as Revenge Tour will be 3-0'd here in the second series of the day. Rocker Academy walk away after day number 1, 2-0.
And I'm not sure who ended up calling that, but somebody had to at least speak it, because you saw Journey was flirting with the idea that he found that 1 kill on the backside of the truck, and he was flirting with it indeed, that maybe I can just push all the way into the backside, get that half wall in my possession, and then try to find more spawn kills. But there was a call immediately. They did end up losing at least 1 player. The 3-player stack comes through, and there was just no hope for Revenge Tour, who were spawning on the backside of Church. They would have had to put on their track running shoes, man, and they would have had to just get into that zone very, very quickly. But because Rocker Academy are doing what Brody has been screaming and preaching for so many challengers teams to do, they stack the zone, they close it out when they get that opening engagement in their hands, and they're able to close out the offense. Look, this is what we've been coming to expect for Rocker Academy, specifically on this map mode combo of Tuscan Control. They know what it takes when it comes down to their immediate opening, their opportunities when they do find those kills. Map positioning, but most importantly, stack the zone. Make sure that the enemy team has no chance in hell to get back to deny it.
Well, we'll take a look at our stat board here. 7 out of the players remain on the leaderboard. Apparently, Mythix is going to be a mythical scoreline. Must have been really good for him to not be on our final scoreboard. But nonetheless, looking at Rocker Academy here, I think they're definitely the team that we should be focusing on. It comes back around time and time again, doesn't it? When it comes to Tuscan Control, the reason that Rocker Academy are so good at this map mode combination is the SMG pressure. And once again here, Journey finishing with 30 kills to his name. Real 33 as well. Both, by the way, 22 of those frags were non-traded. Beautifully done here by this team. The pressure was immaculate. And, you know, as we always say, Andy, and you called it perfectly there, you know, someone had to make that call. And that is what Rocker Academy are really good at. You know, we saw it in Season 1, where that's a massive reason why they were so good at Control, is knowing when to stack the point, is knowing when to go full throttle. Rocker Academy, they make the right call at the right time. They're able to 3-0 the series. Let's take a look at our map set. We said it after map number 1, really, Annie, didn't we? That the rest of the series did look really good for Rocker Academy. And I honestly do feel like map number 1, that is, if anything, was probably where Revenge Tour would have taken the map. And map number 4, of course, as well.
Yeah, I mean, this entire map set just screams comfort for Rocker Academy, though I think coming off of Season 1, being the champions, there's not going to really be many different maps across the modes to control that would probably be unfavorable for them. But I think that, yeah, I think it's going to be really tough to be able to try to deny how strong of a team this Rocker Academy roster is. Look, even when they're playing their unfavored maps, like what we saw from Desert Siege, stark differences of what we were expecting and what we were going to end up seeing from them in Season 2 so far, comparatively to Season 1. It's tough for me to try to say that this Rocker Academy roster looks more polished, but their decision-making on that Gavutsu hardpoint, their understanding of the Desert Sea Search and Destroy, comparatively to what the Millie-Whopping was on the back end of Sukri's Bakery in Season 1, they definitely have gotten stronger. And 2, 3, and 5 was going to probably be Revenge Tour's best bet. Maybe even that Bokash hardpoint to try to get this series in their control, in their favor. The Gavutsu hardpoint definitely needs to go back to be looked at because Shaxter was a non-benefactor there. Again, big shoes to try to be filled for this Revenge Tour roster. Not be the last that we see of them, I'm sure of it. But starting off the day that they have been doing 1-1, not a bad place to be at after beating Sukri's Bakery on the first match.
Yeah, I think the one thing I would say is, I'm not going to sit here and make any sweeping generalizations about the hardpoint, but that ultimately was the conversation point, I think, talking about Revenge Tour, and I think it will still continue to be a talking point about this roster, is they were the second, arguably maybe even the first best hardpoint team in Season 1. I think personally I would say second, again, because you and I talked about sort of the differentials between the two teams, and Rocker Academies, that line was significantly better for them. That being said, I think that's the big talking point, right, is that one of the reasons the hardpoint was so good was the synergy between the SMGs and the AR, one of those SMGs being Denza. He was just explosive during Season 1. They now replace him with Chaxter on the roster, and it is kind of a question of, can Chaxter fill those shoes? Can he play the same role? I would say, from map number 1, it didn't look so great, but honestly, when what we saw them take, I think they might have taken one of the hard points off Sukri's Bakery earlier on, I'm not too sure. Regardless, even if it's not too great early on, they faced 2 hard teams in their very first day of play, and they can improve from here on out.
Yeah, it was the Bokash hardpoint that Revenge Tour are actually able to take off of Sukri's Bakery. That's where I was trying to make the argument. If it's not 2-3-5, it could have been 2-3-4 for this Revenge Tour roster to potentially try to close out this series, because their Bokash hardpoint, from what little I was able to see off of the mainstream as Alan and Sean were taking everybody else through that, was actually pretty explosive. Because, I mean, we got to see a little bit of that specifically from Chaxter. They're on the Tuscan control, and they're in the Search and Destroy on Tuscan. But again, it has to be a map that obviously feels more enabled, more adept with the SMG. Ubuntu is not exactly welcoming when it comes down to roaming SMGs, trying to find a lot of time, and you get cut down by a lot of ARs. But actually being told that I think that we're actually going to a map 5 here, Brody. I believe that it's Vengeance and Doge that are going up in a map 5 barn burner. And how about that? I mean, Vengeance is actually, now that we're conversation going in full circle, we were talking about Denza. Now we're going to go hop on with their team now of Vengeance, which is them, right. Maple, Wardy, and Wee Man versus this Doge roster, which honestly speaking is, I guess, not necessarily surprising. Henry, BB Connor, Whalers, Abusa, you and I have been very high on this team for quite some time. Again, the core of this was the United Nations roster from Season 1. But I think, honestly speaking, when you're thinking about it, winning the Tuscan hardpoint for Doge, winning the Tuscan Search and Destroy 6-2, by the way, versus that Vengeance roster, and on the back end, only winning out by 5 points on the Bokash hardpoint, 240-235 for Vengeance, and then in a round 5 on the Gavutsu control. Dude, this Desert Siege is going to be lit. It could honestly come down the wire, the absolute wire.
It's crazy, right, looking at these two teams, because, of course, we've been talking about how most of the teams here in European Challenges have been swept up in a roster mania that hasn't... I don't think we've seen a roster mania like this in some time, the European Challenges, especially not this early on into the season, where basically every single team has been soaked up in it, besides, I think, literally Sukri's Bakery and Rocker Academy, unless I'm forgetting. I think Signs as well, but they technically weren't part of Season 1. Right. Nonetheless, it is crazy looking at these two teams. I think we should probably start the conversation here as we get ready for map number 5 with this Vengeance roster, because they are genuinely, I think, one of maybe the underdog threats, the dark horse threats in this season thus far. Denza and Wee Man from Elevate last season, they're back together once again. Of course, they started off this season on money form alongside Vortex and Harry. Obviously, that didn't work out for either of them, and now they're back to, well, as the name suggests, take vengeance on apparently a variety of different teams.
I love how, like, Revenge Tour, well, you can't have it because that's just how it all works, right? The Core 3 was still Revenge Tour, so Denza can't have his name anymore. He just goes, well, I still want revenge, so vengeance it is. It's just really it's big time comedy for me personally. But on the opposite side, when you talk about Maple and Wardy, on the opposite side of things, I mean, like, we knew that it had to be a big, strong SMG duo for Denza to be able to go tip for tat with. Obviously, Maple can probably pick up the third SMG. We know that Weeman would probably much prefer to play that anchoring type, slower AR. We can obviously pick things up and get hot when it's necessary. But Wardy was the standout player from that TMT roster, and I don't think it was honestly close. At a 1.16 overall KD throughout the entirety of Season 1, was the breakout player for them as well. And you know, they most of their engagements, about 58% or so, they were walking away with either a kill or an assist. So, I mean, it's still really big to be able to see not only this team come together, but the potential that they honestly have as a 4-player squad for Vengeance to not only find themselves in a reverse sweep, but against this Doge roster, which as a Core 3 have been playing together throughout the entirety of the season so far.
Yeah, I will say one thing, and this isn't to make any predictions on this map particularly, but I would say, you know, looking at these teams on paper, having not seen these guys play yet, I would have put Vengeance in my top 4 at the end of the round robin stage. If I was to make predictions, I think, you know, for me, solidly, I would have said Rocker Academy, Zuckery's Bakery, and Toronto Ultra Academy. Maybe, again, this is fully dependent on what happens. I would have given Vengeance that 4th slot because this team look really, really good. That being said, we have a Doge Nation roster on the other side that have done the thing that I think they needed to do at the end of Season 1, and that was drop Jerd. And I don't mean that offensively in any way to Jerd. I just think for the team, it did. I apologize. I did not mean to come out offensive. Regardless, I think, you know, looking at the team and the way that the players performed, I think that definitely Jerd was underperforming in Season 1. I think the rest of the team probably knew that. And actually, I'm not too sure whether Jerd did retire. I'm really not sure because I don't think he is currently playing in European Challenges. If he did, that is really sad to see a legend go like that. That said, you know, they have now replaced him with a new player. BB Connor is joining this roster. And, you know, I think BB Connor is a really good fit for this team. I always rated him as an AR player. And I don't know if the TMT roster was the right fit for BB Connor in Season 1. So they do absolutely show promise. This roster, I think they should get better from Season 1. It's just whether or not they're good enough to take out this new look Vengeance roster. That is going to be the question for me. I think if I remember correctly, you know, going back to Season 1, even in their Season 1 form, United Nations was still able to take a series. I believe it was off the originals, and I think that was probably their biggest victory in Season 1. So we know they're capable of taking big teams down.
They did, yeah. The United Nations were able to beat the originals. It was 3-1 as a whole, and they 100-point clubbed them on a Berlin hardpoint, 250-98. Yeah. But then they also lost 0-6 in the Berlin Search and Destroy. So, right. You know, it's this or that, really. But just continuing on the conversation, just as TMT have all really gone their separate ways. Obviously, Maple Wardy being, I guess, the duo walking away from TMT, now playing with this Vengeance roster. But we just saw Chaxter now on Revenge Tour. Big shoes to fill for Denza, who, again, is now, I guess, the mainstream for Vengeance at the end of the day. But I'll also agree with you for BB Connor in that standpoint as well as a flex AR type deal. I mean, we got to see what they look like specifically on a Bocage hardpoint. They definitely get things wildly when it comes down to the SMG, and a lot of their decision making when it comes down to it felt very disjointed on that TMT roster away from their AR counterpoint, specifically of Maple. Definitely playing 2 different games at the same time. That I think it'll be quite interesting to be able to see what this roster actually looks like as a whole, because I don't have any VOD to actually go off of. I just have history to talk about when it comes down to this Doge team as a whole. But I mean, when it comes down to it, you have a great lineup as far as SMGs are concerned. You and I could talk all day about what Abusa looked like throughout the Cold War season, from a lot of the ability that they were able to do. And a lot of that has translated here in Vanguard, where the pace of play is definitely brought up a little bit more. I think it's just about finding the right team, the right pieces of the puzzle, if you will, with BB Connor coming in place in lieu of Jerd.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right to point out Abuser, right? Because I think for him, the team history has been so far It's a player that, for me, the Black Ops Cold War season was their debut, I believe, right? I mean, even if it wasn't fully their debut, it certainly was the debut of a player that was playing on top form. But we're jumping into game number 5 now. It's Search and Destroy. It's Desert Siege. And BB Connor, you naughty, naughty boy, trying to get those aim assists on the players. And I think he's actually got it as well. He's hunting down for Wardy. There is one, looking for the second as well. But Wee Man says no. 3 for 3 we go.
Will be. Got to try to at least collect this bomb and try to go for the plant. Maple's actually playing with a sniper, and honestly, can't say that I'm too surprised by that simple fact. And bomb is still being held in the back pocket of Whalers. He will lose his running mate. Vengeance with the numbers advantage defensively can essentially just play for the retake here.
They could, but Whalers get sniped from the back line. Those snipers, man, on Desert Siege, they're horrible to go up against. Vengeance will draw first blood here, Andy.
Yeah, again, the Kar 98K in the hands of Maple. Sniping in general for Maple. You and I actually had a long discussion about this this morning, actually. We were going over our notes and just talking about the teams in general. It's just something that Maple has just continuously found their success with. And in a game, much like in Modern Warfare 2019, where the secondary, the pistol, is as good and fun as the Rat pistol, don't really count Maple out, even if they do have the boomstick. It'll be Henry sniping on the opposite side here. Looking for these very long lines of sight. We'll see that nade and stun come through, so they know at least one player is over here. But as far as an offense is concerned, Vengeance are trying to play with this B-bomb maybe, but more importantly, they're just trying to get themselves inside a university and any sort of map coverage to speak of.
If they do go into university, Vengeance will basically be clear. Nobody is actually inside that building. Doge Nation deciding to play this a little bit slower. User has quite a lot to do here. Henry will be coming in for the help sooner rather than later. We're on board with Maple, though, as he snipes in no man's land in regard to where that bomb is. Abuser going to take down Denzer. There is objective number 1 complete. And even better, Abuser going huge here with 2. Henry trying to snipe out Wardy. Will with the shot, but make no mistake here, Andy. This is a 3 versus 2. Abuser has turned this round around.
There's a reason why I talked about this kid. He can absolutely get things going when it's necessary. Again, has a lot of coverage to speak of with Henry with this R98K. Dropped in a precarious position, to say the least, and, well, BB Connors just going to find themselves some very nice timing through the offensive spawn, more or less, to be able to cut down the last player, Maple, who, again, had that boomstick, so was really just trying to play for that pick, more or less. The clock was probably going to be the 5th player that we're going to be going up against with this Doge roster. So, 1 for 1 we go. As far as rounds are concerned, Snipers paying dividends on both sides. Just the pressure alone that Henry brought allowed Abuser to play a little bit more of an aloof angle to find those 3 kills. It will be a round number 3 in offense for Doge. Got cut down by Maple Sniper, playing their nerdy angles. Well, they'd be right to play it. Don't end up getting too much information off of it, but did see a little something from that little line of sight.
Henry's stuck here in this position. He's going to have to make quite a bit of noise to get out. And he will, even better here. He does take down Denzer on the exit. So beautifully done here. Vengeance now find themselves in a 3 versus 4. I'll make it a 3 versus 3, though. Wardy trades things out. Wee Man with another kill of his own. And now 3 versus 2 we go. Doge Nation, fortunately, have picked up the bomb. And if this is a fast plant from Whalers, this will actually be a pretty good round here for Doge Nation to at least turn things in their favor.
It's about trying to deal with the players that are trying to rewrap and get back around. You can see what Vengeance are currently trying to do. It's going to be immediate university control for Wee Man. It's going to be an interesting engagement. They break through that door, but Whalers, who's in another engagement versus Maple, will be going 1 for 1. Now a 1-on-1 for Wardy and co, but as it was all happening, that poor bomb was getting defused. That's just beautiful coverage, isn't it? I mean, when it comes down to it, you have a distinct numbers advantage. 3v2, typically we'll see it in a 2v1. Look, you hop the bomb, I'll watch your cross. But in a map like Desert Siege, you have a lot of different avenues. Those hills absolutely have eyes in the sand dunes. Gotta make sure that all those angles are covered. Going 1 for 1, finding the trades, and being able to isolate the last player, knowing that they were a non-benefactor on the outskirts of that B site. Great call for Vengeance to be able to go for that play.
Indeed it was. Can they follow it up, though, with an offensive victory? Doge Nation not going to give them anything just yet. Denzer has an eye on the bomb. Look at that nade, though, from Abuser. Nicely done to recognize that somebody is probably over towards that back left area. And well, off the back of that, now the numbers in favor of Doge Nation. Vengeance want to put it back in their favor by getting the bomb down on A. That is exactly what happens. And now this is going to be monumentally harder for Doge Nation to find their way back on towards the point. Some long-range shots coming in from Whalers. It isn't enough to take down Wardy just yet.
Oh, but it's still information that there's at least one player over there. And you can see that the flank play was at least trying to manifest, but ended up getting cut down for their worth. Now you're trying to hit this from the front. And that's a very, very tough engagement to be able to take on the opposite side. Didn't even end up coming down to the gunfire. It just was a big old set name that comes through from Maple. Hey, how's it going? Y'all take two. You know, Maple rehearsed that bad boy.
Sometimes I forget whether or not we're playing Halo or COD with the nades in this game. The nades are so powerful, and these players at the moment, at this point in the game, they have got so good at pulling off set nades. Ones like that can really make all the difference here. Good clutch coming out from Vengeance's. Now on the defense once again. Henry and Whalers over towards the sand dunes. And they find any information. Well, might not find anything as Wardy comes in from behind. He's able to take down one. Nice trades, though. 2 for 2 we go. The dominoes fall very quickly in this round. BB Connor's the last man left alive.
Maple with these nades, man. Look, I pretty good at COD, but, like, might have a future in softball as an outfielder with the way he's just eating these things across the map. Connor now in a 1v2. Actually end up recovering the bomb. They are going to look to maybe try to work their way back over towards B. And to be quite frank, it'd be the better call. The two players for Vengeance have worked their way back through the train. Did he see them jump? He sure did. Maple's got the boomstick, though, and you give him a second engagement like that, throwing shoulders. Maple will absolutely cut you down. 3-round lead out for Vengeance trying to complete the reverse sweep.
What a reverse sweep it would be for a Vengeance. This roster. Really. Yeah, absolutely. This roster is definitely capable of it. Looking at this team on paper, this has just been such a solid search and destroy for them so far. Keep an eye on Maple, by the way, as well. 2 kills shy of a glide bomb. If he gets that on Desert Siege, this is done. Oh, well, that's a good start from Henry coming through, picking up that first blood versus Maple. That's the sniper battle won by Doge Nation. Trades going in their favor. The bomb left in front of University. Vengeance will go pick it up. And even better here, Wardy gets the kill over towards Abuser onto A. But BB Con has just spotted out Wee Man in this position.
That he has. It's more of just like trying to bait out the information, but Connor's still over here. Needs to lock down the kill, goes through the entire magazine. Now favor the reload, but because of this positioning, Vengeance thought that they might have been able to find a full wrap around the other side, but Henry's been watching it. Will take down Wardy. Now a 1v2 for Wee Man.
I'm curious about the post-plant positioning from Wee Man. What does he do? Because if he runs forward, BB Connor's going to get him. There's the call coming through. Wee Man wants this fight. I respect to him. Wee Man! What? How did he get both? What?
We'll see. There's the one.
What?
Wait, what? The hip fire when he was walking away from the ADS, and he connects with 2 more bullets on the Henry, who should have had the easiest trade of his life, but just misses a bit outside of the snipe. That was a hell of a round out of Henry, but an even better round out of Wee Man, who walks away with 3. And the clutch to boot. 1 round away from getting themselves a reverse sweep. It's going to be a quick plant down here at B by Abuser.
How quick is the reaction from Vengeance? Well, not quick enough, it would seem, as Denzer and Wardy going to be taken down. 40 seconds on the clock here from Maple and Wee Man to pull something special out of the hat. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past Wee Man in this position. I was going to say, actually, he was on 3 kills in a row. I thought he might try and play a little bit passively, and even if he did, to be fair, Doge Nation, they just had the numbers to make that work. Beautifully done by Doge. They live to see another round here, Andy. They're not done yet.
Just wasn't in a position also just to put himself off the map or just get out with their life. I mean, obviously, you have rounds to play with, right? You got a 4-round lead. It was 5-1. Play just damn near flawlessly going forward if you are Doge. Well, you do, honestly. are still up on map point if you are Vengeance. 7-4 for Maple, 7-5 for Wee Man. Start off here with BB Connor, who's taking a look at the sand dune side. Some shots are also being thrown towards the middle of the map. There's actually a lot of focus for the offensive team of Vengeance over by the train area. And because of that, Doge are able to get into university for free.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? Getting into university for free. Imagine if you didn't have to pay those student fees, regardless. Vengeance. 3v4. A man down here, Andy. Gotta make this round work on the offense as well. I think that's probably the toughest bit about this entire situation, right? Is you are the ones that have to play aggressive. You're the ones that have to get the bomb down. You're already a man down in this position. I think at the moment they're just waiting for Doge Nation to give them something. They've just spotted out Henry, but you can't really do anything with that information.
Got a sub up here. Not exactly the favored weapon to have when you're trying to deny the plan to come through at A. And with the bomb's going to work their way over towards this bomb site, we'll get the plan. The information will be mutual. Does Henry try to chow this and try to get the information? They don't have to because Whalers on the backside of the tower is going to be able to do it for him.
Maple looking for the quick scopes. I think those phase 1 applications are still up, Maple, if you want to go for it. 1v4, this would definitely be good to have on your record, wouldn't it? But no, not going to happen. Doge Nation, another round on the board here. Refusing to die. Everybody on 2 spree. Nobody going to be close to any streaks just yet. But nonetheless, I don't think that's probably what's at the forefront of Doge's mind at the moment. They're just taking this round by round.
And they don't fall... If they don't succumb to the desperation play, when you're down that heavily, how many teams have just completely thrown any sort of bit of strategy out the window? It's like, look, let's just try to run at them. Even when they have the numbers advantage, they recognize, look, we're on defense. They have to make the play coming forward. We have all of our crosses covered, that even if the bomb plant does come through, Whalers was in a position to be able to reach out and put themselves in a position to at least get the exit onto Wee Man. I hate that window too, Whalers. It's going to be a set nade over top, over towards B. Offense for Doge. We're headed towards the north side of the map, but Vengeance aren't necessarily giving them anything. Nobody is barreling their way into university this round.
I think the thing is for Doge here, again, you're looking for any advantage you can possibly get, right? You can't really afford to lose a man. That's why they're playing this so slow. Vengeance also kind of know that. It's a matter of who blinks first and really who blinks fastest. Henry. Just waiting in mid-map. Maple. Going to be keeping an eye on Whalers, who might well push out towards the dune side. You get that kill, it's huge. There you go. First blood going the way of Vengeance. Well, these trades still in favor of Vengeance here, Andy. 25 seconds left on the clock. Henry. Can he be the playmaker in this situation? Can he be a haymaker, really, for this Doge Nation side? There's the first kill. Turns around for the second. There's no way you turn and burn onto Maple like this, is there? You don't really have the time to do anything else in this 1 versus 3. And there you go. Dreams squashed for a Doge Nation. Vengeance. They've brought out the broomstick. It's a reverse sweep.
And that's impressive within its own self. Again, you know, when we're thinking about it, for 2 different rosters that are just recently formulated, I should say, just off the back end of Cup number 6, really, is that this Vengeance roster, just off of namesakes alone, bunch of grinders, man. They know what it takes to make sure that all of their game modes are just as clean as it possibly can be. And this Doge roster definitely brought with a certain amount of heat. But when it comes down to it, that one map of Desert Siege, you would almost just assume on paper for the players that are represented on that Vengeance roster that it panders all of their strength, right? I mean, you have an infamous sniper of Maple that is able to find a lot of value early on. That then completely buys the respect for Doge that we're not challenging Maple over by that B lane anymore. And just when you think that you get out scot-free from having to deal with Maple and Henry starts to heat things up with their own sniper, then you got Wee Man, who historically for European Call of Duty has always been one of the more mainstays ARs, in my opinion. Has always been finding themselves continuous value with the AR, and they're able to play it to such a high degree. Medium to long-range engagements and finding timings like that off of bomb plants, off of retakes alone. Wee Man has made a career out of that so far, and a lot of those rounds you got to see exactly why.
Yeah, beautifully done by Wee Man to really contribute to this squad, generally speaking. You love to see it there from Vengeance, and we can see the reverse sweep in action here. Doge Nation That is, we're really close hard point to kick things off, but the Search and Destroy not close at all. Preceding two maps, I think they'll be kicking themselves. Obviously, you and I didn't get the chance to check in with this as it was ongoing, but you look at the scorelines there, 3-2 around 5 on Gabutu Control, 250 to 235 on Bakaj Hardpoint, and then the 6-3 to close things out. Vengeance with the reverse sweep to kick off week number 1. They are 2-0 at the end of day number 1. But I think generally speaking here that the team that they beat earlier on was Signs. The team that they've just beaten now are Doge Nation. The competition only gets tougher from here on out for Vengeance. I think the road to revenge is paved with a number of tough teams, a number of obstacles in there.
Yeah, Vengeance, I mean, for tomorrow's sake, I mean, they have the Originals, and then they have Toronto Academy EU. So, I mean, those are going to be two very different matchups within its own self. I mean, Vengeance are going to be tested versus the Originals roster. Definitely want to see a big turnaround for the Originals as far as that is concerned. But you know Toronto Ultra EU, who also just walked away with a very swift match versus versus their second match. I believe it was GWR Signs, actually. Yeah, they won 3-0 on that matchup on the mainstream as well. Going to be looking to at least keep things flawless, as they did end up faltering versus that Rocker Academy EU roster here that we had on our stream here for Clutch. I mean, there's a lot of good competition. You and I have been talking about this ever since, but actually before Season 1, sorry, I think it was like Cup 3, you and I were looking at some of these top 4 teams before our roster mania ended up happening at the end of Season 1, and I mean, Europe has never really seen this much competition. There is no big stark difference from, you know, the top 4 teams all the way down to even top 6 teams. They're, you know, barring a few different individuals and a lot of different moments. This is just the beginning of Season 1 or Season 2. We still have a lot more we still have a lot left in the tank for this round robin stage to be able to see who those top 4 teams at the end of the road is going to be.
It's been a good start for Vengeance. It's been a good start for a number of teams here at the end of day number 1. But as you say, Andy, there's still, 3 more days worth of action, Call of Duty left in the tank here for the round robin stage. But that's going to be it for day number 1 of Europe, mate. It's been a pleasure being with you as always. It's been a ton of fun. We're done for now over here at ClutchGG. But we'll be back in about 45 minutes or so for the North America region. Andy, mate, I couldn't be more excited for those games. If you guys think Europe is crazy, North America, mate, it is insane. I Hold Shift and Visions will be on for that one. But for the European stream here with Clutch, we are done for the night. We'll see you tomorrow.